Be cool, be kind, be classy. The cupcakes are sweet and sexy. Have fun and enjoy the journey. Just have a good attorney. No big whoop, no biggie. She lives near New York City. And not just a YouTube show. When you know, you better grab a straw. Learn about the law. It's cool here in the shade, sipping motions of lemonade. Cool heads will prevail, kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Oh, Melanie Little is going live. Oh no, where is Melanie? Follow the island's melody. Is a concert within reach. No surprise, she's at Jones Beach. She heard some music far away. Captain Jack Stack Harbor Bay. He sings and his piano plays. Not all sounds are waterways. Speaking Yiddish and Latin, it's not just for Manhattan. It's for Goethe and Machegas. Ridiculous that insanus. Oy vey, Marcus. Proset, that's for schmucks. Be cool, be kind, be classy. My cupcakes are sweet and sassy. And not just a YouTube show. When you know. Cool heads will prevail. Kindness will never fail. Be classy and vastly wise. Melanie Little is going live.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening. What is it? It's evening. Good evening, my friends. Thank you for joining me for the full moon stream. Today is Thursday, October 17th. It is the fourth supermoon of the year. It is the blood moon. And even some of you sent me pictures of it. Thank you for that, for sharing your moon with me. I was just out a little while ago driving the mommy Uber, and the full moon is in full force. And isn't it sort of ironic, don't you think, that the latest Bederow letter dropped on the full moon? But there's a lot of people out there wishing this thing had never dropped, never been written, never saw the light of day, and it is certainly not in the public domain. But here it is, my friends, here it is. And I'm here for it. And I know you're here for it too. How is everyone? This might be the second time you're joining me today, or maybe the third time. I'm not even sure. I don't even know what day it is. I think it's Thursday. He came in like a wrecking ball. That's Bederow. He came in like a wrecking ball. He came in like a wrecking, I think in song lyrics, right? Thank you for liking my new song. My new song was written and produced by an amazing viewer named Melissa, aka Turd Ferguson. Props to her for doing that. So I like it. And I made a little video. Bederow is the daddy of law. Thank you. Thank you so much for your compliments. Love you guys. Glare raid. The glarers are here. What do they call them over there? What does he call you guys? Where are the cupcakes? What are the glarers? Is this all this data from this is this is explosive. Like, just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, and just when you thought maybe you were being gaslit into thinking, everybody in the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office and everybody associated with it, and all the troopers assigned, and everybody couldn't possibly be corruption, right? There couldn't possibly be people doing things that are unethical, illegal, that would shock the conscience of not just the average lawyer, but the average citizen. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. Let's get right to it, because there's a lot of you here. And I think you've been waiting for this, but the mommy Uber never gets a day off. And so sometimes I have to do things that require my undivided attention. Nope, not especially in Taxachusetts. 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 Massholes. Okay, anyway. Here it is, the latest bomb drop by attorney, my friend and yours, attorney Mark Bederow, who just may, be single-handedly, with his brother counsel, Tim Bradel, dismantling Norfolk County, hanging them out to dry. And to all of these people out there who think that a letter is not a proper form to make demands, I'm here to tell you that you're wrong. Put away your Twitter law degree and understand that letters are often written from one attorney to another to ask for things in order to save the court's time in the interests of judicial economy. Doesn't it make so much more sense to just send a letter and ask for things rather than make a motion and then the other side has to respond and then you have to wait for a decision? Lawyers who are civilized often write letters back and forth to each other, asking for things that they know they're entitled to, stating their position in the letter. And then if they don't get them, or if they don't get a satisfactory response, then they make the motion. And then they can say to the court, Your Honor, we made a good faith effort to try and get all of these things without bothering you, basically. In the interest of judicial economy, Your Honor, we sent this letter on this date. Here it is, attached as Exhibit A. And then we sent this letter on this date. Then they responded to us. And then you have a record. Okay? So put your Twitter law degrees away and understand that this is the proper way to ask for things. Maybe it's not the way we do things in Massachusetts, Mr. Bederow, but it is a perfectly acceptable way to do it. And it's the way civilized attorneys who are usually friendly because they see each other time and time again throughout the years, right? I was a civil litigator for over 30 years. I was a plaintiff's attorney. Many of my best friends are defense attorneys because I worked with them on hundreds, if not thousands of cases throughout the years. So this is the way civilized attorneys behave. We ask for things, we wait for a response, and only after we've exhausted all of our opportunities to ask for something that we're entitled to, do we then go to the court and waste their time making a motion when most civilized attorneys can just agree to agree. I'm real sorry for certain people that this is part of the court record if it's embarrassing to them, but really I'm not, because this is the kind of stuff that we are here to shine a light on. And this is the kind of thing, this is the reason that Mark Bederow probably became interested in this case, because of the glaring missteps by the Norfolk County DA's office. The absolute intention of this county specifically and Massachusetts in general to stifle the First Amendment, to silence journalists. There is no journalistic shield in Massachusetts. It doesn't exist. And when overly broad statutes that are, in some of our opinions, unconstitutional and vague are used to weaponize the people that the district attorney's office doesn't like and selectively prosecuted against people that the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office doesn't like, that's a problem. And you should be outraged. You should be outraged. We are outraged. We have an emoji for that. Damn it. We have an emoji for that. Will, are you here? Will, are you here? You know what I'll do? Will, didn't you just go over this stuff? What I think I'll do is I'll read through everything so that I can get through it. I'm exhausted. And then if you want to come up for thoughts after I'm done doing that, that would be fantastic. Just let me know. Wink, nod, say no more. Say no more. Look at this. Uncle Mark, the real estate lawyer, bringing down the house or burning down the house. There you go. We should start a playlist for this trial. Okay. First one, wrecking ball. Second one, burning down the house. Love me some talking heads. And that's exactly what's happening here. And I'm sorry if there's some people out there that don't like it because it hurts their feelings. Okay. But when your district attorney, Morrissey, talking to you, uses his private email address to correspond with judges on the QT, who does that remind you of? What other famous politician used a private email? A private email server to communicate things as such Anybody remember? Oh, he left a letter for me to read. Oh, that is so nice. He spent 3 hours. What did he talk about for 3 hours? Ding, 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 ding. Hello, Peter Silva. Anybody remember Hillary Clinton? Remember what Hillary Clinton did with all of those private emails on that private email server that she had? Well, no, it wouldn't leave. See, his private email would not be subject to a FOIA request or a Freedom of Information Act request. We call it FOIL here in New York, Freedom of Information Law, or that's what we used to call it. And I still like FOIL better than FOIA because it just rolls off the tongue a little better. But in any event, how could we forget? It's very Hillary-esque, let's say, Hillary-esque. These are people whose egos are so large that they just don't think they're ever going to be caught. But Bederow don't play. The killer bees are in town, my friends. And this is explosive. Let's go. Here's the letter dated October 17th, 2024, via email to Robert Cosgrove, who is now the second special assistant district attorney assigned to prosecute or persecute Aidan Kearney, journalist that they like to call blogger, as if that's some sort of diss to him, who broke open the Karen Reed theory. He didn't break it open, but he publicized it to the point where lots of people in Massachusetts and elsewhere became very, very interested in this case and started to look at it more closely. So Robert Cosgrove has stepped in for Ken Mello, who has been MIA, who was the original special district attorney that was assigned to Aidan Kearney's persecution. And it is interesting to point out, I don't know the exact numbers on this. Maybe some of you in the chat can help. We're very collaborative here. We do know that Hank Brennan, who has been tapped to re-prosecute or persecute Karen Reed in January, is being paid a total contract of with a ceiling of $75,000 at the very discounted, almost bargain basement. I mean, what's even lower than TJ Maxx and Marshall's rate of $250 an hour with a cap of 75 grand? I think Mello has been paid more than that, right? In his prosecution of Aidan Kearney, aka Turtle Boy. Yeah, you dropped a bomb on me. Great addition, Diane. Thank you. I love that for us. Peanuts compared to what they paid Mr. Mello, right? Dollar Tree prices. That's exactly what it is. Dollar Tree. But everything at Dollar Tree is now $1.25. So that's what it is. Ross for Less Legal. It's Timu. Guess how much Quinn Emanuel attorneys get paid? Probably somewhere between 1,700 and $2,000 an hour. And they work for the ACLU. Okay. But they do that for free. All right, I digress. Here we go. This was sent by email to Robert Cosgrove today, because this is not off the press, my friends. October 17th, 2024. In the Commonwealth versus Aidan Kearney cases, the plural, because there are many. They would like to lock Aidan Kearney up for something like, what is it, like 120 years or something? 120 years? This is the way civilized attorneys behave, especially when they've got a court date coming up on December 2nd. Here we go. Dear Mr. Cosgrove, we are scheduled to appear in the Norfolk County Superior Court on December 2nd of 2024 to address issues related to the Commonwealth's search of Aidan Kearney's cellular phones. To date, the defense has not been provided with any data or extraction reports from Mr. Kearney's devices, which have remained in the Commonwealth's possession since the Massachusetts State Police seized them on October 11th, 2023. Over a year ago. They've had Aidan Kearney's devices for over a year. And I'm going to compare and contrast that with the Brian Walsh case. Brian Walsh, also in Norfolk County. Brian Walsh, also investigated by Proctor. His devices extracted by Garino or Trubarino. Also involved, I think, Tully Fanning and all of the usual suspects or the usual players or the usual investigators, troopers / people signed to the Norfolk County DA's office. It should be noted that Brian Walsh is charged with the dismembering, chopping up, and distributing of his wife's body parts throughout random dumpsters in the county of Norfolk. And Brian Walsh's devices were seized, extracted, and returned to him within, wait for it, 24 hours. 24 hours by Michael Proctor and Trooper Garino. We went over those documents together. I know you know. IYKYK. Shameless plug for makestickers.com. IYKYK. So they've had his devices for over a year. Cell phones, hard drives, laptops, iPads, including things belonging to the children. For approximately 1 year, the Commonwealth has claimed or implied that Mr. Kearney's cellular phones have not been searched. These representations are patently false. Tell us how you really feel, Mark. Tell us how you really feel. Right there in paragraph 2. Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey and Special Assistant District Attorney Kenneth, have known since October of 2023 that MSP Detective Lieutenant, or DL, Brian Tully searched Mr. Kearney's cellular phones and that the MSP extracted at least one of them prior to October 31st of 2023. And you know our friend Mark Bederow does not show up without receipts. So buckle up, buttercups. IYK. We recently came into possession of several pages from a Celebrite extraction report of Mr. Kearney's cellular phone. Footnote 1. That's where all the juice is. The Celebrite report identifies the owner of the extracted Apple device as Clarence Woods Emerson, which is a pseudonym used by Mr. Kearney on Facebook. Exhibit A, because he attaches these receipts, and they're too kind of blurry for me to even read them to you, so we might skip over Exhibit A. And proof that it was searched by D.L. Tully in October 2023 during an investigation orchestrated by D.A. Morrissey into alleged witness intimidation of Chris Albert and Jennifer McCabe. Where's Nurse Kim? Jennifer McCabe by a Stoughton court clerk and Mr. Kearney. It is outrageous that the defense obtained evidence in your actual possession related to alleged intimidation of named witnesses in the indictments against Mr. Kearney from a third party, rather than from the Commonwealth, who was obligated to disclose this evidence to the defense several months ago, but instead has repeatedly denied its existence. Oh, the shock and horror. Oh, yes, Jess. Oh, yes. Translation. This Celebrite extraction report was obtained by Mr. Kearney's defense team from a third party, not from the required disclosure that the Commonwealth is obligated to exchange. Obligated under Brady and such other cases that we know the names of. Graham, McFarland. How does that relate to Graham and McFarland, Ms. Little? Not me, the other Ms. Little. That's not related to me. And I know that you know that we know that Michael Morrissey was well aware of his Brady obligations because we went over in one of my 25 pretrial videos that I did on this case. We went over the frantic letters from Michael Morrissey and others in his office, included Lynn Beland or Beland, or I'm not sure even how to pronounce her name. The frantic letters where they were searching for information beginning in May of 2023. So consider the timeline here. Consider the timeline of what was going on the same time that this was going on in the Karen Reed case. Michael Morrissey started ramping up and writing crazy letters talking about his obligations under Brady and wanting to know what the feds were investigating. And people have come to me, and we're going to look at, we may look at those letters if we have a chance, because the timeline here is very interesting. So keep that in mind. DA Morrissey launched the investigation into which relied upon the MSP's search of Mr. Kearney's cellular phones on September 29th, 2023. Exhibit B. This was after he engaged Mr. Mello to handle any investigations involving Mr. Kearney due to a conflict that arose after Mr. Kearney's dogged reporting exposed information that persuaded a large segment of the public that the Norfolk County DA's office and MSP framed Karen Reed for the murder of John O'Keefe, which almost overnight created the worldwide Free Karen Reed movement. There it is. Footnote number 2. Despite similar, if not worse, conflicts with Mr. Kearney and the Norfolk County MSP homicide unit that has not recused itself, D.L. Tully is leading an investigation in which his 2 direct subordinates, Trooper Michael Proctor and Sergeant Yuri Buchanan, are alleged victims of Mr. Kearney. D.L. Tully and Trooper Proctor are presently under MSP internal affairs investigation, and Sergeant Buchanan already has been disciplined for their inappropriate conduct in the Reed case, which bolsters the credibility of Mr. Kearney's reporting on the Reed case. That it does, my friends, that it does, like it or not, like him or not, like his methods or not. It does bolster his credibility and the stories that he's written about the Reed case. This obvious conflict, combined with the Norfolk County MSP homicide unit's exploitation of the Massachusetts witness intimidation statute by utilizing it in favor of witnesses who despise Mr. Kearney and refusing to employ it against those who are aligned with Mr. Kearney and or are critical of the Reed case, exposes the unit's animus towards Mr. Kearney and creates the appearance of an improper motive for investigating him. As DA Morrissey recognized in recusing his office, public confidence in the MSP and the Norfolk County criminal justice system, which currently is dreadful in large part due to the MSP Norfolk County homicide unit's conduct in Mr. Kearney's cases, the Reed case, including Trooper Proctor's suspension without pay for his shocking and disgraceful treatment of Ms. Reed, and the flawed Sandra Birchmore investigation, compels that the Norfolk MSP homicide unit be replaced with unbiased investigators from another county. He said it. That was footnote. What footnote was that? That was footnote 2. Okay. Moving on to page 3. Lest there be any doubt that Mr. Mello didn't know in October of 2023 that Mr. Kearney's phones were searched and at least one extracted, his failed attempt to indict Karen Reed and Mr. Kearney for conspiracy to commit witness intimidation shortly before Ms. Reed's trial, in which Mr. Mello elicited testimony from D.L. Tully that he searched Mr. Kearney's cellular phones in October of 2023, settles that question. See the testimony of D.L. Tully, page 27 to 29. Translation. When the grand jury was convened in March of 2024 in a futile attempt to indict Karen Reed and Aidan Kearney both for conspiring to intimidate witnesses in the Karen Reed case, Tully was the only witness who testified in front of that grand jury. And apparently, according to this paragraph, Tully testified in front of the grand jury under oath, sworn to. God save the Commonwealth. Tully testified that he searched Mr. Kearney's cell phones in October of 2023 under oath. There you go, my friends. There you go. They've been lying to the court. Lying to the court about not having searched Aidan Kearney's devices, making all kinds of excuses of why they can't give the devices back. Oh, we got to get a taint team. We got to do this. We got to do that. We're trying to figure out who we're going to hire to do this. Guess what? They had to turn over the grand jury minutes when the grand jury failed to indict the bologna sandwich that was this alleged conspiracy between Karen and Aiden. Because as you know, as the infamous Saul Walkler of New York said, a prosecutor can get a grand jury to indict a ham sandwich. They couldn't indict it. They didn't indict it. And after that, Lally got up in open court and sort of like pretended maybe that it was kind of still going on. The magnitude of this and the ripple effects of this I can't even express to you how enormous they are. And not just in Aiden Kearney's case, but also in the Karen Reed case, also in the Birchmore case, the Walsh case. Every case that these people have touched is now going to be called into question. This is the highest level. It's gonna get worse. I mean, you can't even believe that it's gonna get worse, but it's gonna get worse. A lot of C words I could think of, but I'm not going to say them right now. We are deeply troubled. Mark's only deeply troubled. He's only deeply troubled. He's not effing pissed. We are deeply troubled by Mr. Mello's misleading representations, which have left the court and defense with the false impression that Mr. Kearney's devices have not been searched. Footnote 3. To be clear, we do not believe that Mr. Cosgrove has delivered. One of these days, I'm going to find my words and I'm going to be really, really eloquent. Back to 1. To be clear, we do not believe that Mr. Cosgrove has deliberately made inaccurate representations to the court and or defense. We're not saying, Mr. Cosgrove, that you're a liar. We're not saying that you've lied to the court or you're in violation of just about every single ethical rule that there is. Rather, it appears that DA Morrissey, Mr. Mello, and DL Tully have failed to inform him about the true circumstances surrounding the searches and extraction of Mr. Kearney's cellular phones. See what Bederow did there? Gave him a parachute. Gave Cosgrove a parachute. Going, we're not coming for you. We're not coming for you. We don't think you did anything wrong. You've only been on this case for a hot minute, ever since Mello went MIA, and really, can you blame him? But here's what we think happened. We think they all lied to you. And they lied to the court. It's huge. Huge. Put simply, it is undeniable that the Commonwealth has failed to disclose any evidence from Mr. Kearney's devices, despite Mr. Mello's, DL Tully's, and DA Morrissey's knowledge for more than 1 year that such evidence has been in the Commonwealth's possession and that at least one of Mr. Kearney's cellular phones had been extracted a year ago. Page 4 begins with DA Morrissey's fall 2023 investigation of Mr. Kearney. Mr. Mello has certified that his services as a special assistant DA incurred as of September 20th, 2023. And that's in Exhibit C. That he was hired then. DA Morrissey officially authorized Mr. Mello's engagement on September 26th of 2023. Exhibit D. Thus, DA Morrissey agreed and understood prior to September 29th of 2023 that Mr. Mello was the proper official to handle investigations related to Mr. Kearney's alleged intimidation of witnesses in the Reed case. On September 28th of 2023, Chris Albert, a witness in the Reed case and an alleged victim in the 2023 indictment, sought but was denied a protective order against Mr. Kearney before Judge Daniel O'Malley, remember that name, of the Stoughton District Court. This application was heard and decided in a courtroom open to the public. Later that day, Mr. Kearney published a blog about this matter. That evening, Jennifer McCabe, another witness in the Reed case and an alleged victim in the 2023 indictment, complained in a text message to an unnamed individual. I know it's late, but I'm horrified that Chris didn't get it, and I'm even more disgusted that for the second time, someone from the court leaked it right away to TB. Footnote number 4. On May 30th of 2023, Ms. McCabe unsuccessfully sought a protective order against Mr. Kearney in the Stoughton District Court. This application was also decided in a courtroom open to the public. So Jen McCabe tried to get a restraining order against Aiden, and Chris Albert did as well, and they were both denied. Did everyone already know that? Did everyone already know that? Ding, 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 ding. Melody1234 says, is this the reason that he sent it from a private email? Because it can't be FOIA'd? It's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Ms. McCabe's message was forwarded to DA Morrissey, who included it in an email he sent the following day to Stacey Fortes, Chief Justice of the District Court, Thomas Ambrosino, the Massachusetts Trial Court Administrator, Philip McHugh, Deputy Court Administrator, Judge O'Malley, the first Justice of the Stoughton District Court, and Lynn Belland, or Beland, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Norfolk County First Assistant District Attorney. Okay. You guys taught me how to pronounce Lemonster the other day. I was saying Leominster, and you're like, no, it's Lemonster. Lemonster. So I got that going for me. If you know how to pronounce Lynn's last name, let me know. DA Morrissey used a personal email account, footnote 5. Email addresses used by employees of the Norfolk DA's office end in @mass.gov. The email address used by DA Morrissey for his September 29th, 2023 message ended in @icloud.com, which is associated with an individual's personal Apple account. The only thing that might make it funnier is if it was Lemonsta. It would be as if it was an AOL account. IYKYK. DMRC used a personal email account to communicate with numerous high-ranking court officials, including the judge who denied Chris Albert's application for a protective order about official business he described as a matter of grave concern. Someone in the Stoughton District Court shared an affidavit that was prepared by a witness in the Commonwealth v. Reed murder case. And he spelled Reed, DA Morrissey, in his email spelled Reed, R-E-E-D, with Mr. Kearney. That was the matter of grave concern. Dial-up AOL. Yes, that would have made it better. Dial-up AOL. Diane Gallagher. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm talking about here. Yeah, exactly. Nosy Rosie and Aunt Bibi. While this is far from funny, you have to laugh at the stupidity of these people, but their stupidity is our gain. How are they gonna defend this in the cesspool of Twitter? All those talking heads that go on court TV and want Karen Reed and Aiden Kearney both hung up in the town square, drowned like witches. How are they going to defend this? Are they going to say, oh, this is totally normal? Totally normal that the DA would use his personal iCloud account to email a matter of grave concern to all the judges on the case, including the judge that didn't give Chris Albert a order of protection against Aiden Kearney. Doesn't take a lot more than common sense or just the feeling of ick that you get from reading this, that you might want to take a shower after this. That makes you feel like, something's wrong. It doesn't feel right. Trust your gut, my friends. Trust your gut. Without elaboration, DA Morrissey named court employee Michelle Littlefield as the leading suspect. He's accusing this woman, Michelle Littlefield, of leaking this affidavit from a public court proceeding. Footnote number 6 says, that same day, oh, here she comes again, KP. Masshole mafia, masshole, mafia troll, masshole troll mafia. Talked about her during some of the other letters. That same day, Catherine Peter, an MSP source against Mr. Kearney, see the October 8th letter, tweeted that Mr. Kearney would be arrested on October 10th of 2023. He was arrested on October 11th. In an October 3rd, 2023 Facebook post, Ms. Peter publicly identified Ms. Littlefield as the target of the unpublicized investigation, posted her picture, and announced that Ms. Littlefield had been suspended as part of the investigation. See Exhibit E. Oh, I can't wait till we get to Exhibit E. An MSP source. If you weren't here for part 1 and 2 of these bombshell Bederow letters that are going to go down in history as being the thing that took down the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office, in my opinion, of course. Kate Peter, mafia masshole, had the personal cell phone numbers of Massachusetts State Trooper Brian Tully and Ken Mello, the very special assistant district attorney. And she used them quite frequently to text them and perhaps collaborate, collude or conspire with them to involve a woman named Lindsay Gattani, who was the ex-girlfriend of Aidan Kearney, to do something that may perhaps get him shut up, put in jail. Yep. And it worked. Danielle says, Marcy wasn't scared of anything other than the corruption Aidan was bringing to light. He did whatever he had to do to shut him up and throw him in jail. Yep. How would Catherine Peter know all of these things? How would she know that Aidan Kearney would be arrested on or about October 10th? It turned out to be the 11th. How did she know that Ms. Littlefield was a target of an unpublicized investigation? How would she know? Well, we know how she knew because she was texting Tully and Mello. And they're looking for her cell phone records too, all of her social accounts. That document dump will be interesting. You know what they say? Karma knows your address. All right, where were we? He expressed concern that the Reed case witnesses had lost faith in the courts and that the, quote, actions erode the trust and integrity between the courts and the public and the relationship with the district attorney's office. We are extremely concerned that the improperly disseminated court material unsolicited to a third party, which is continuing to cause harm and damage to witnesses in an ongoing homicide prosecution, must be a violation of court policies or a potential violations of the law. We also understand that Aidan Kearney had also immediately requested copies of the FTR record that was made on September 28th of 2023. Again, there is no way that he would have or should have known that a hearing took place. Again, it's a public proceeding. Anybody could have been in the courthouse. Anybody could have been there. And they're accusing this woman, Ms. Littlefield, is that her name, of being a mole in their office, and he's using his private email account to notify all of the judges in Stoughton and threaten them that they better find out who this mole is, or the public's not going to be able to trust them? Well, the public's not going to be able to trust them or you, but it has nothing to do with Ms. Littlefield or Aiton Kearney. You guys are doing that pretty good job of that yourself. DA Morrissey concluded by demanding that these matters be resolved immediately and that he would await your advice. I'll await your advice or guide your actions accordingly. That's my favorite. Guide your actions accordingly is another way of saying, go F yourself. Go duck yourself. Go duck yourself. Guide your actions accordingly. Something's up with my camera. It's in the wrong location. Let me fix that. There we go. Oh, look at those pretty sunflowers I bought for you guys. Look. Okay. Let's go to the chat for a minute because I need a little breather for a second, as I'm sure maybe you do. Rebecca is a new member. Welcome. Public Records is a new member. Welcome to you too. Thank you so much, Christy Mel, for your 10. Just to give me a compliment. That's so sweet of you. How kind. Thank you. Such a kind and fabulous chat we have. Isn't that true, friends? All right. My hair's in my face. I know. People are always like, why do all the women on YouTube always play with their hair? Well, because it's in our damn face. That's why. And it's annoying. And when you're on camera, you have to look at yourself. All right. Thank you for giving the $10 compliment, really. On the up and up, I absolutely adores me too. Look, a deuce just for a compliment. You guys are amazing. And Joseph Kane gifted a membership, and he's amazing too. Always gifting, always kind. Massachusetts. Thanks, Kale, for the laugh and the deuce. Beth with a $5 coming in, and Mama She, another amazing supporter of the channel. Thanks for the 10. Just a super stick it to him. Stick it to him. Thanks, Liz. New intro is fabulous. Love the video. Fire dancer. That is the Dave Matthews fire dancer emoji. I'm really trying to get to Cleveland for the as such Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction this weekend. So wish me luck. Cross your fingers for me. If you know, you know. There's a Dave Matthews song title in my tonight's stream title. Say goodbye. Bye-bye. Take that however you like. Jen T, thanks for becoming a new member. And Sherry, thanks for becoming a new member. Sue Candle is enraged with me. Thank you so much for that. Jason's a new member, but Jason, you've been an old member for a very long time. Maybe you just re-upped. Thanks for that. Arlene, thank you for being here for 8 months and for being happy to see me, because there's a lot of people who I'm sure are not happy to see me. But even if you're hate watching, smash that like button, because at least I can promise you that Michael Proctor and the Norfolk County DA's office and the troopers assigned there too will not get your DNA. So smash that like button. Thank you. Thanks, Belinda, for becoming a new member. And Beth is so embarrassed to be from Massachusetts. I'm not going to judge you for it at all. It's not your fault, Beth. You didn't do anything to deserve this. Thank you for the 5. Duckgate conspirator with a deuce. Thank you. Madam Roz, hello, my dear. How are you? I've been hanging out on your channel quite a bit these last few days. Yes, I am outraged. Could not have envisioned the depth of this depravity. Oh, my friends. The roots of corruption in Canted are certainly tangled and twisted, aren't they? Alleged corruption, conspiracy, contempt, all the things that they may or may not be, in my own opinion. I'm not intimidating anyone. I'm just giving you my opinion. Amanda, thanks for being here for 5 months, and thanks for being happy to be here with me. And Kim says Turtle Boy rocks and has been here for 3 months. Like, here's a bunch of new members. I'll just name you guys all at once. Phoebe Bird, Howie Brown, Deanna, DW. Thank you all so much for your support. And Howie Brown gifting 5 memberships. And to those of you who were randomly gifted, welcome. David Reese says, can indict a ham sandwich, but not a poop sandwich. Thanks, Dave. EL444, the Brady Bunch is expanding every week. Oh, I love that. I love that for us. The Brady Bunch. That's great. Props to KP for inability to shut up and further sinking the MSP Norfolk County District Attorney's Office. Well done. Yeah, and well done to the Norfolk County DAO in selecting their confidential informants, because there's nothing confidential about it if you're broadcasting that you're providing information to the DA's office and the police. So it's kind of like defeats the whole purpose of the oxymoron of confidential informant. Not so much. But if she is an actual real confidential informant that was engaged by MSP or Norfolk County DAO, they need to have a record of her. They need to have a record of her. They'll have a record of her and what she's promised and what her terms of engagement are. So I can't wait for the response to that letter. I don't know that any responses have been received to any of these 3 bomb letters, but we're waiting. This is insane, says Crime Girl 420. Edward Kirkpatrick, how many zeros does this add to Kearney's eventual civil judgment or settlement? A whole lot. Glenn Lake, thanks for becoming a YouTube member. Sue, thanks for the 20. Since 1986, I live in France. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, mademoiselle. I'm retiring as a professor next August. Good thing, as I'm at a loss trying to explain this to my students. State versus federal, local cops versus MSP, corruption, politics, rights. I am in shock and horror. Merci. I'm with you. Amber, thanks for becoming a new member. YouTube turns. Thanks for the $5. If he used his personal email in his professional capacity, it would become a public record and can be FOIA requested. I think they're going to get it anyway. So yeah, but here's the thing. They wouldn't know about it unless they uncovered it on their own, see? Right? So now it can be because it's been exposed. But I think he thought that nobody was ever going to find out. That's what I think DA Michael Morrissey thought. Thank you for pointing that out. True Crime Junkie, the OG, has been here for 8 months and loves it here. Thank you. Thank you. We have the best moderators on YouTube, and we also have the funniest chat on YouTube. And you guys know it's a lot of pressure being in this chat because you got to make me laugh and each other laugh. And we have to laugh or else we're just going to cry all the time. I see you. I see you. I see what you did there. Thank you for gifting 5 memberships. You're amazing. Oh, Phoebe Bird. That's a great, great comment. Can we call him Bederow? Yes. Yes, I'll allow it. I will allow it. Motion granted. That is the way the way that we do things here in Massachusetts, Miss Phoebe Bird. Thank you so much. All right, let's get back to this letter. Okay. I don't remember or what mode I was on. Maybe I was on this mode. Okay. Yes, DA Morrissey concluded by demanding that these matters be resolved immediately and that he would await your advice. After Mr. Kearney's October 11th, 2023 arrest, footnote 7, Bederow knows about footnotes and how to put the Easter eggs in there and all the juicy, delicious goodness. In the footnotes, footnote 7 says transmissions from 7:53 a.m. on the day of Mr. Kearney's arrest confirm that MSP officials assigned to arrest Mr. Kearney, including D.L. Tully, quote, heard from KP it was the same thing yesterday. 2 older kids getting on at around the same time, but it was 8:30, end quote. Mr. Kearney was arrested at 8:34 a.m., 1 minute after his children boarded a school bus. Remarkably, it appears that Ms. Peter participated in the MSP's apprehension of Mr. Kearney by surveilling him at their behest. Think about that. They've got mafia masshole surveilling Aiden Kearney to let them know what time his kids get on the bus so that they can go and arrest him 1 minute after his children have got on have gotten on the school bus. Were they looking out the bus windows? Were they looking out the back of the bus like kids often do and wave to cars behind them, watching their father be handcuffed, in which we now know was a setup? Well, maybe with the October one, well, when we do now know it was a setup because she's telling them where to go and arrest him. But the December arrest, that was really a setup because that's when she was texting with Tully and Mello, and Lindsay was texting with Tully and Mello while Lindsay was in the bathroom and Aiden was outside the bathroom. And they served her with a grand jury subpoena so that she would be a witness under the under the statute. Lindsay, go figure. They served her with a grand jury subpoena, something like 2 days before or a day before Aiden allegedly pushed her on the couch at her house. And the grand jury had already wrapped, and the next grand jury had not convened yet. So it was like this weird, like flapping out in the breeze sort of grand jury subpoena for the sole purpose of making this Lindsay a witness under the statute. See how that works when you weaponize an overly broad and unconstitutional statute like that? See? And then you try and make people fit into the confines of your overly broad, vague, unconstitutional statute by serving them with a subpoena, a fraudulent subpoena. I'll say it, a fraudulent subpoena for nothing. For a grand jury that had already wrapped, or the grand jury that wasn't yet convened because the crime had not yet been committed. Which is it? Pick one. Whichever one you pick is not a good choice. These people should have been a little bit more careful about who they chose to get in bed with, to be their confidential, or not so confidential informants. It's not going to end well. My crystal ball is broken, but if it was working right now, I think I would shake the magic 8-ball. I would shake, remember the magic 8-ball? Do you think any of these people are going to go to jail? I would shake my magic 8-ball and it would come back and say, all signs point to yes. Just my opinion and the opinion of my magic 8-ball. I think we need that. I think we need a magic 8-ball for an emoji. Remind me. Thanks. Love your collaboration. After Mr. Kearney's October 11, 2023 arrest, his cellular phones were seized and maintained by DL Tully. At approximately 9:15 a.m., the MSP obtained Mr. Kearney's passcode and gained access to them. Wow. Wow. So he's arrested like a minute after his kids get on the bus. That's 8:34. And by 9:15 a.m., they've got his passcode and they're already in his phones. Do you think they didn't go through them? Do you think they were waiting for a taint team? Inquiring minds want to know. Within 1 hour, Mafia masshole, Miss Peter, sent a childish and harassing direct message on Twitter to one of Miss Reed's attorneys. Really? Really? Just when you thought it couldn't get any worse. Here's the DM. She slid into either Yannetti or Jackson's DMs. It doesn't say. She slid into their DMs and said, "We know you're involved in Aiden Kearney's little witness harassment game, and your texts with him have already been making the rounds. Buckle up, Buttercup." Well, that's interesting, isn't it? How did they get the passcode, says BL. Great question. How did Mafia Masshole have this information to the point where she's bold enough and brazen enough and feels protected enough to slide into either Yannetti or Jackson's DMs on Twitter? Yeah, this is outrageous. Right? Right? Aiden gave Tully the passcode. I can't confirm or deny Lindsay Tyler, but if he's here, he can tell me. Glara says, what an a-hole. KP has some brass ones, says Nicole. Yeah. Iceman says, actually getting better for this Bederow letter. Buckle up. Somebody's mom says, me thinks those words will come back to haunt KP. Mm. And she's still walking around, says Peter Silva. Yep. She's free. What was she promised? Leniency? I don't know. Can't wait. Can't wait for a response. We missed footnote 8, which comes, your texts with him goes to footnote 8, which says DL Tully has testified that he viewed the text messages between Mr. Kearney and Ms. Reed's attorneys on Mr. Kearney's cell phone in October of 2023. Right. Okay. So Tully testified in front of the grand jury in March of 2024 when they were trying to indict Aiden and Karen. He testified that he, Tully, read some text messages between Aiden and either Jackson or Yannetti. And they were trying to use that as proof that he was conspiring, colluding with Karen and her lawyers to intimidate witnesses. I know this is confusing, but stick with me. So again, Tully's testifying. They looked at Aiden's phone in October of 2023. And meanwhile, Mello is telling the court, oh, we're waiting for a taint team. We haven't gone through it. We can't give his devices back because, we're waiting for a taint team. We didn't extract anything. It's almost as good as the Burla hasn't invented the software yet excuse. IYK. And then after buckle up, Buttercup, it goes to footnote 9. Footnote 9. Yes, I did. I heard it when I was in the car, Laura. She says you have to hear Glara's Morrissey impression. I know, it's fire. Let him do it when he comes on. Thanks, Laura, for the deuce. Moon Goddess, are you enjoying the full moon tonight? Says which is the real reason why they wanted to arrest him and get his phone, or at least one of the reasons they wanted to get in his phone. Yes, in order to indict him and put some more charges on Karen that would potentially, if they indicted Karen on more charges, potentially revoke her bail and put her in the clink, which ironically happened to Aiden in December when he was let out on bail on these original charges. Then they set him up to intimidate fake witness Lindsay. And then they called that a violation of his bail, and they did jail him for 60 days. He did 60 days in the clink for you guys, for journalists worldwide, especially in Massachusetts. He could have taken a plea. He was like, no, I'm not gonna. They wanted to lock him up for 90 days. After 60, they realized that 90 was outside the scope. They let him out after 60. He spent 60 days in the Norfolk County, I don't know what it's called, jail? Norfolk County clink. Buckle up, Buttercup, goes to footnote 9, which says, Ms. Peters' baseless implication that Ms. Reed's attorney engaged in witness intimidation is another example of her pattern of engaging in violations of the witness intimidation statute. And yet, selective persecution. She's still out there raging and engaging anyone who will listen. In fact, from what I hear, doubling down on all this stuff. You know what they say? Bob Dylan said it best, my friends. When you ain't got nothing, you got nothing to lose. I do think in song lyrics. It's crazy, I know. On October 31st, 2023, Halloween, Stoughton District Court Clerk Lauren Green presented Miss Littlefield with, quote, evidence gathered during the investigation demanded by DA Morrissey. These materials included copies of DA Morrissey's September 29th, 2023 email and several pages from a Celebrite extraction report from one of the cellular phones seized from Mr. Kearney on October 11th of 2023. Well, there it is. That's how the defense got this, because the Celebrite extraction was given by the district court clerk in Stoughton to Ms. Littlefield on Halloween of 2023. They already had a Celebrite extraction of Aiden's phone. And they have been lying to the court ever since. We don't have it. We never did it. We can't do it because that would be in violation of the ethical rules. Judge, this is, yeah, Anthony, how do these people mofo sleep? This is crazy. This is crazy. Hollywood writers are dying to write something like this, but they never would because nobody would believe it. The producer would say, yeah, no, this isn't believable. It's too ridiculous. Nobody's going to believe this plot. Next section, Mr. Mello's misleading assertions about Mr. Kearney's devices. On October 19th of 2023, Mr. Mello emailed co-counsel Timothy Bradel that he did not know how far the MSP had progressed in any review of Mr. Kearney's devices. A few hours later, after speaking with D.L. Tully, Mr. Mello updated Mr. Bradel. D.L. Tully is the only individual in possession of the electronics seized, and I can confirm that he will cease any further searches until this matter can be addressed by the court. You have my word on this as an officer of the court. Okay, well, let me tell you something. This is how we do things in New York. In New York, lawyers don't have to have anything notarized ever because as an officer of the court, when you sign an affirmation in your name, you, as an officer of the court, when you're sworn in to the bar of any state, you're sworn in as an officer of the court, which means you do not lie to the court. You don't have to have your signature notarized. It is implied, assumed, and expected that you will not lie to the court. Some people don't know that in addition to taking the bar exam for the state in which you wish to practice, which is a 2 full-day exam, you must also take and pass a written ethics test regarding the code of professional responsibility to which all lawyers are sworn. If you do not pass this ethics test, but you do pass the bar exam, you're still not going to be admitted. You need to pass the ethics test. Ethics are taken very, very seriously. And in fact, most states have a committee that oversees complaints against lawyers, and they are taken very, very seriously. Lying to the court is a big problem. So when he says, you have my word on this as an officer of the court, he's putting his license at risk. From October 20th to November 8th of 2023, Mr. Bradel asked Mr. Mello 3 times if Mr. Kearney's phones had been imaged, which would have made it unnecessary for the Commonwealth to maintain possession of them. Mr. Mello tellingly had ignored these inquiries. On November 16th of 2023, Mr. Mello reassured Mr. Bradel that Mr. Kearney's devices had not been searched. I gave you my representation that we would not examine the contents of the electronic devices without sufficient prior notice to you. Please know that we obtained search warrants this morning for the contents of said devices. Footnote 11. I've asked D.L. Tully and he has agreed to refrain from executing said warrants. Your client's devices will not be examined prior to the court's ruling on your motions. Okay. Line number 1, 2, or 3. I can't even keep track at this time. But on November 16th, he's saying, we just got warrants this morning, meaning before today, November 16th, we did not have warrants to search that phone. We did not search that phone. And yet, Ms. Littlefield was provided with a Celebrite extraction of Kearney's phone dated October 2023. In my opinion, this could get Mello disbarred. My understanding is that he's been sanctioned publicly more than once, more than twice, maybe 3 times. But Bederow doesn't come without receipts. This is outrageous. And this is the guy that they chose to be the special ADA. Okay. Let's see. Footnote 10. Where did that come in? Because I skipped over that. Footnote 10 goes to the Celebrite extraction report from one of the cell phones seized from Mr. Kearney October 11th, 2023. See at the top of the page here, see Exhibit A. Footnote 10 says, the pages of the extraction report provided to Ms. Littlefield omitted a May 30th, 2023 message in which Mr. Kearney was told that a local reporter observed the proceedings where Ms. McCabe was denied a protective order against Mr. Kearney. Well, that's interesting. Selective deletion of text messages. Where have you heard that before? Did that ever come up in any of the cases or trials that we've covered where things were selectively deleted and then didn't turn up in Celebrate extractions? And then everyone's sort of scratching their head like, oh, I never made that. It was a butt dial. Anyone? Shelley says what everyone's thinking. They all lie to the court and nothing happens. Interesting. Yes, Noelle. Jen just wanted to delete the messages to her daughter. And what's so interesting about that is that her daughter did turn out to be an actual important witness in the Karen Reed trial. She was the alibi. But it was okay. They told her it was okay to just delete the messages to her daughter. I have no idea who made complaints about Mello. I've just been told that he's been sanctioned in the past. I have no idea who made somebody asked who made the complaints. I don't know. Then we go to footnote. Okay, we were here. Footnote 11. The defense has not been provided with these warrants or underlying affidavits. We demand immediate production of these documents. Wow. Wow. Because what are they going to do? Backdate a couple warrants to now back up the mountain of lies that Mello's being caught in? I mean, I don't know if I've enjoyed reading a letter more, except for the last letter I read by Bederow. No, I don't know. They're kind of tied right now. Produce the warrants and the supporting affidavits that a trooper has to sign off on, giving probable cause for the search. Let's see them. Can't wait. Bated breath on the edge of my chair, edge of my seat. All right. On November 28th, 2023, at a hearing in the Stoughton District Court, footnote 12 is the link to that hearing because it was apparently televised. Here you go, Judge, or here you go, Mr. Cosgrove. You can see for yourself because we know that you, sir, were not involved in the case then, but here's the receipt on that. Mr. Mello couldn't have been any clearer in representing that Mr. Kearney's devices had not been searched. The state police and the investigators have not perused the material. It is in pristine form, located on the defendant's devices. There's a t-shirt. In pristine form. I'm writing that down. In pristine form. The court then asked Mr. Bredel if he had been advised by the government that they hadn't started the search, that there's been no search done. Mr. Bredel indicated that it was his understanding that no search had occurred. Instead of clarifying the obvious misimpression that the court and Mr. Bredel believed Mr. Kearney's devices had not been searched, Mr. Mello merely replied, "We would not investigate. We would honor our commitment to further not investigate until this matter is determined by the Superior Court." Oh my gosh, it's like Mello's like a frog in boiling water. And the heat is just getting turned up and turned up and turned up. Mr. Mello further stated that if he provided the devices to the defense, Mr. Kearney might delete the data and thereby impair the integrity of a later extraction. Yeah, they're worried that Aiden Kearney is going to delete data. Wow. Can they backdate warrants easily? I don't know. I was just kind of making a joke, Mama Bear Cat, but it's like a form. It's like a scratch and sniff. I don't know. Did they ever get warrants? I don't know. Were they really dated November 16th or whatever that date was that they said we just got them today or yesterday or whatever? They're creating a whole lot of evidence and certain things are missing. So that's interesting. In other words, Mr. Mello gave the court and defense the clear impression that Mr. Kearney's phones had not been searched or imaged for extraction when he knew the exact opposite was true. See Exhibit A, once again, grand jury testimony of D.L. Tully, March 27, 2024. I had to highlight this part in pink because if you know, you know. I have merch. It strains credulity that Mr. Mello, who frequently discussed the investigation with D.L. Tully in October 2023, didn't know on November 28, 2023, that D.L. Tully had, in fact, searched Mr. Kearney's devices and that at least one phone had been previously extracted. Footnote 13. Mr. Mello's dubious representations are another topic that we intend to examine him and D.L. Tully under oath in support of our pending motion to disqualify Mr. Mello under Rule 3.7a of the Massachusetts Rules of Criminal Procedure. Yeah, his dubious representations are another topic that we intend to examine. Mark is such a wordsmith when it comes to cutting, slicing into the meat of the matter like a surgeon with surgical precision, taking down the Commonwealth, the county, the DA's office. It's a beautiful thing to see. It's really just, I'm verklempt. I'm verklempt. It's beautiful. Mr. Mello's misleading representations and failure to disclose evidence he was obligated to provide to the defense several months ago likely violate Rules 3.3a1 and 3.4a and d of the Massachusetts Rules of Professional Conduct. Those are the ethical rules that I was just telling you about. For more than 1 year, the Commonwealth has steadfastly refused to return Mr. Kearney's devices. Even worse, you haven't disclosed to the defense any evidence contained therein. Instead, the Commonwealth has repeatedly maintained that Mr. Kearney's devices have not been searched. Anybody got the Thompson Twins song in their head? That, we made an emoji for that. Lies, 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 yeah. Lies, 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 yeah. They're gonna get ya. The Commonwealth's obfuscation has harmed Mr. Kearney professionally, and it has prejudiced him as a criminal defendant. He is entitled to data on his phones that is necessary for him to continue his journalism, and he has an absolute right to review evidence to which he is legally entitled. See footnote 14. On April 23rd, 2024, Mr. Mello was ordered to disclose by May 8th of 2024 any evidence in his possession that was subject to automatic disclosure under Rule 14. And here's the receipt. Here's the video, in case you don't believe me. Given irrefutable proof that Mr. Mello and D.L. Tully, and almost certainly D.A. Morrissey, have known that Mr. Kearney's devices were searched and at least one extracted in October 2023, the Commonwealth's failure to disclose any evidence recovered from Mr. Kearney's devices and any extraction reports from his cellular phones is indefensible. A clear violation of his due process rights to access material evidence and to fully prepare a defense. The defense believes that Mr. Kearney is being prosecuted to stifle his First Amendment rights to report and opine publicly and loudly about alleged corruption and misconduct in the Reed case by the Commonwealth, MSP, and civilians who are now witnesses against him. There it is in a nutshell. I'll read it again for emphasis. The defense believes that Mr. Kearney is being prosecuted to stifle his First Amendment rights to report and opine publicly and loudly about alleged corruption and misconduct in the Reed case by the Commonwealth, MSP, and civilians who are now witnesses against him. We further allege that the MSP wanted to seize Mr. Kearney's cellular phones to improperly access his sources of knowledge about the Reed case and to review any information he possessed regarding a federal investigation into their conduct during the Reed investigation and prosecution. Yeah, kind of what we thought, right? Accordingly, pursuant to Brady v. Maryland, Graham, the district attorney for Hampton District, and Rule 14, we demand any information and evidence in your possession, custody, or control regarding the seizure, search, and extraction of Mr. Kearney's devices, including, but not limited to, true, accurate, and complete copies of any data searched and or observed, any extraction reports, search warrants, affidavits in support of search warrants, when the devices were searched and extracted, by whom, any reports, email, documentation in any form, describing the contents, searches, or extractions of the devices, or communications between and among, or to, or from DA Morrissey, Mr. Mello, DL Tully, anyone associated with the Norfolk DA's office or MSP, any of the individuals referenced in DA Morrissey's September 29th, 2023 email, Ms. Littlefield, Ms. Green, any other employee of the Stoughton District Court, Jennifer McCabe, Chris Albert, and Ms. Peter. Yep. And they're entitled to it. We look forward to your prompt disclosure of the requested evidence and any other required Brady and Giglio disclosures that result from your discussions with DA Morrissey, Mr. Mello, DL Tully, or any other appropriate individuals regarding the issues we have raised about Mr. Kearney's. Oops. What did I just do? Did I go away for a second? Okay, I don't know. I touched the button. I can't touch anything. Or any other appropriate individuals regarding the issues we have raised about Mr. Kearney's cellular phones. XOXO. Law Daddy, Mark Bederow. We'll go to the chat for a second. Let's do that, shall we? Thank you, Denise, for becoming a new member, and Joseph Kane for your super sticker, and Alex for loving my coverage. And Will, I sent you a link if you want to join. Thank you. Thank you for saying I'm incredible and for paying $2 to even say that to me. I appreciate you. Elaine says, Turtle Boy is really a hero. Thank you for covering these. Thank you, Elaine, for tuning in, as always. Lisa says, thanks for the sunflowers. Oh, you're welcome. Are you enjoying them? Thanks, Lisa. Thanks for thanking me. Namashi with another $10 super sticker. Thank you so much. Sue, I think we already read that one. Thanks, Kel. It's because we all love you for all you do. Thank you so much. Magnolia Gypsy says, paying my grift tax. Love ya. Oh, thank you. We're all such grifters, aren't we? We still have to go through the exhibits. We're not there yet. We're waiting for Will to join so that he can grace you with his impersonation of DA Michael Morrissey. Thanks, Carla, for becoming a new member. And Shelly, 1466 says, your term strains credulity has caught on. Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy about that. Melissa, thanks for being a member for the month and for tuning in for a month and for tuning in from Australia and for loving my intro. Melissa did do amazing work. Thank you. Hello again. Hello. Hello, my friends. Hello. Thank you, Dewey, for the 5. Jason Smith, thank you for the 5. Hey now, was that meme a bit too much the other day? LOL, that lady got me mad. Yeah, that was cute, but I just, I couldn't put it up on the screen. Captain Trips, another deadhead in the chat. Thanks for the 5. Norfolk DA, don't know the rule is to stop digging when you're in a hole. This whole thing is blown up on them because of their own arrogance. Oh, 100%. 100%. They had to keep going. They had to keep going. But here's the thing. We talk about this a lot in a lot of different cases. When there's no ramifications for your behavior, and this goes for children too, you keep getting away with stuff and getting away with stuff, and people keep getting you out of trouble, and you keep getting out of trouble. You just keep going and going and going because you think you're never going to get caught. Why didn't you just extract his devices and give them back to him in 24 hours? None of this stuff would be out there, right? You wouldn't be maybe getting disbarred over this. Guys, great point. Thanks, Angel Mama, for becoming a member, and Sharma Lily and Sherry Ann. Guys are amazing. Thanks, YouTube Turns. 3,000 of you have not smashed the like button. What? I'm going to turn off the air conditioning. There's 4,800 watching and only 2,000 likes. Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to hit the like button. Just do it. Pushes the stream out. Everyone will know about this information worldwide. I know it's late, you guys. I know for you guys that are worldwide, it's late. And if there's anybody who's still up with me over across the pond, Australia, South Africa, let me know that you're still here and that you're awake and that it's late, because that's how invested you are in this. If it's 4,000 likes in the next 10 minutes, I will donate 5 memberships. 4,500 likes, 10 memberships. That's amazing, YouTube Turns. You're amazing. Yeah, we're only at 2,000 likes. Question that says, Dewey, should the Alabama tax expert witness go ahead and cancel his January flights? I don't know. I don't know. What do you think, Dewey? Come hell or high water. I don't know that they're going to drop any charges on Karen Reed. I don't know. We went over the brief today from the Commonwealth for the appeal, and they seem steadfast on the fact that they do not even want the jury question. They're not dropping anything. Thank you, Jazzy Jones, for your 2. She says, I'm on fire tonight. Thank you, Glenn Lake, for gifting a membership. Effin' Hippie became a member. You feel at home here? Feel at home here, Effin' Hippie? You know. I even have dancing bear emojis and steely emojis and all such of kind of things like that. Now that you remember, you can use them, Effin' Hippie. Is one of those letters Sue O'Connell said folks should be writing? Is this one of those letters Sue O'Connell said folks should be writing? I don't know what Sue O'Connell said. Not been following the Sue O'Connell drama. Sorry, Dewey. Shelley Silva, I hope Auntie Bev shows up in all this corruption. Remains to be seen. Sally Kelly says, Bederow equals the father of footnotes. Is the father of footnotes. Yes, if you know, you know. Thank you, Sue, for coming in again with another 10. I consider Turtle Boy to be a hero protecting U.S. justice, which I truly did believe in. He's abrasive and obnoxious, and I can't agree with many of his positions, but I'm so very grateful that he stood up. Thank you, Sue, for your opinions and for your super chat. Cheyenne Brown says, I have to say it, Bederow is a mofo boss. You know it. You know it, girl. Thanks for the 5. Oh, Sarah in Shock and Horror is an amazing moderator for this channel. And before she joined the Mod Squad, or was appointed to the Mod Squad, or volunteered to be on the Mod Squad, she was always an amazing contributor and generous benefactor of this channel. And so it is with great pleasure that Sarah gifted 10 memberships. And I thank Sarah on your behalf. And if you were gifted a membership by Sarah, please, she doesn't have to be in Shock and Horror, hopefully for too much longer. But she's so very generous and kind, and thank you so very much. And Glenn came in and gifted another membership. Thank you so much. Lalo Me from Canada says, Melanie is the law mama amongst all the YouTube daddies. Thank you for the Canadian 5. Auntie BB2 says, Law Daddy has set fire to Morrissey's reign. And Pilgrim Shadow always comes in with Grateful Dead clothes. Samson and Delilah for the playlist. Bederow is going to tear this whole building down. That's right, he is. Mozzie says, from Australia, Mozzie, what time? It must be late for you. Or tomorrow. It's tomorrow for you, Mozzie. Bederow's draining the swamp. Time to free the snapping turtle. You know what's up, Mozzie. Thank you so much. Without further ado, I present to you my friend and co-host for the rest of this evening, Mr. Will, last name unknown, also known as the Glarer. Viewer discretion is advised. Hi.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How's everybody?
I thought you read this already. You didn't read these? You didn't read
No, no.
these?
Like the thing is I get to talking, and I figured you were gonna go over them, so I figured I'd just get the summary from Turtle Boy's article,
Mm-hmm.
and I just kind of read that and gave my thoughts. I got the meat and potatoes of it.
So, what? I mean, what are your? Before I have you read Marcy's email in Marcy's voice, thoughts, concerns, questions. Are you
Scott
speechless
Messerschmidt.
about
No,
this
just
whole thing? What's that?
I was just saying hi to Scott Messerschmidt.
Oh, hi.
What's up, buddy? And D&E Pizza. I figured out who that is. I was like, who has a wrench and did that? But
Allow
yeah,
these
that's
replacements that I bet Will hated homework.
oh, what homework? It
Yeah,
didn't
exactly.
exist in my existence. It just didn't.
Jim Riddle says, Law Daddy just taught them a big new a-hole.
Dude, listen, man. I mean, I said this in my stream. Like at this point, I'm just a Bederow fanboy. Just straight
Are
up.
you?
Like, yeah. How can you not be? Think about it.
Wait, do you want me to get you his autograph? I think I can.
I mean, I'll get it eventually, you know. I mean, he's got to come outside of his house at some point, you know. So
right. He may be in Massachusetts again soon.
No, man, seriously though, this dude, what he's doing right now is a masterful work of art.
Mhm.
It is legal opera. It's beautiful. It's I could feel the humming, you know, from what it's doing.
It's a symphony.
It's amazing.
It's a well orchestrated symphony. Yeah, it's a great point.
He is going to take the very people who put Turtle Boy in that very courtroom on the stand of that very courtroom. That is amazing.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh
I
yes.
mean,
Unless
it, like, I'm telling you, Bederow, listen, if I were a younger man, it might move. That's all I'm saying.
Robbie Ropes. Let's keep it clean we'll keep it a little. I know it's funny. It's funny. Comedy's not always pretty. Robbie Ropes says Blair is in the bushes outside of Bederow's house.
Yeah, no,
you better be careful because they could maybe be able to get a restraining order against you. But no, they won't because if Jen McCabe didn't get one and Chris Albert didn't get one against Turtle Boy, so I mean, I don't think you're very close to being in Bederow's bushes.
There's just a track of like a timeline of events that just builds up to Turtle Boy being totally railroaded. You know what I mean? Like it's amazing that Bederow's just like, it's right there. So and I love his style because he words it so that the layman, so that the public can understand it.
Right.
So he's informing us, but he's doing it in the form of, I'm accusing you of this. Yes. And it's to Mello and Cosgrove. It's beautiful. It's and
he's so eloquent, and he's so his word choices are classy.
He just legally slapped Mello in the face with a glove.
That's right.
Dude. It's totally what he just did.
So true. So true. All right. We haven't looked at the exhibits yet. So we're on the exhibits now. So let's look at the exhibits. This is the extraction report, which I have kindly redacted. And the participants in this is Scott somebody, I don't know who, and Clarence Woods Emerson, which, as you know, is Turtle Boy's moniker or pseudonym. These are, I can't even read these because they're like blurry and whatever. But this is the extraction that they're claiming was done in September when Mello's been lying to the court forever. They can't return the devices because they never extracted them. Like Bederow does not come without
right there. It's beautiful. Right there. It's right there.
It's
Like
all here. This is the
that's
extraction.
that's the sheet music to a masterpiece right there.
Well played, Will. Well played. Here's Exhibit B.
I'm telling you, I'm getting sharp,
You're getting good at this
right?
YouTube thing. One of these days, one of these big days, you're a contender. You're already a
Maybe.
contender.
We'll see.
All right. This is the Morrissey email from his iCloud account. I said the only thing funnier would have been if it was from an AOL account and somebody trying to have a dial-up AOL account. Like that would have made it
So
better,
great.
right?
Yeah.
So he writes this email September 29th of 2023 to the head judge in Stoughton and I think it's Judge Ambrosino, Judge McHugh, Judge O'Malley, who's the one that did not give Chris Albert the restraining order, and Lynn Beland, who we know from that letter dump of Morrissey is like his right hand. So Morrissey writes this email. I'm going to make it bigger for you because I know that it's hard to read.
Okay.
So if you would like to, in your best Michael Morrissey impression, grace the audience with your dramatic, comedic, and or any other interpretation of this letter that you choose, we would be in your debt for a very long time. You let me know when you're ready.
Give me 1 second here.
All right.
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. Okay, here we go. I am writing to express, Dear Judge Fortes, I'm writing to express my grave concern with actions taken by an individual employed at the Stoughton District in regard to an affidavit that was shared with a blogger writing about an ongoing second-degree murder case on 9/28/23. A witness in the Commonwealth versus Reed murder case filed a request for an application for harassment prevention order, which was heard before Judge O'Malley. The application and affidavit were processed in the Civil Clerk Department of Stoughton District Court and presented to the judge, which after hearing was denied. This needs to stop. We are informed that the witness and the others that shortly after the hearing that Aiden Kearney, a.k.a. Turtle Boy, was provided with a copy of the entire affidavit. There's no way that he would have been aware of the proceeding without an insider working in the courthouse. The leading individual who presents as a possible leak is Michelle Littlefield. This needs to stop.
And then this screenshot of Jennifer McCabe's text message is included, and it says, and this is part of the email that Morrissey is sending the judge and all these other judges. I know it's late, but I'm horrified that Chris didn't get it. And I'm even more disgusted that for the second time, someone from the court leaked it right away to Turtle Boy. Then, because the people who work in Stoughton District Court, like me more than him, they sent this humiliating affidavit to me so we could shame him some more. We have put in a request for the court audio, and hopefully with a little luck, we'll have it for the live show on Sunday. Oh, that's not Jennifer McCabe. I was doing Jennifer McCabe's voice. I think that's Turtle Boy's voice. Oh, man, I totally screwed up that reading, but you guys get the idea.
No, I thought it was good. That was great.
All right, thanks. Did I get the part?
I mean, totally got the part, of course. That was your interpretation. You took me there. I was convinced.
Thank you. Totally. Did it make you feel something?
It did.
You wanted to beat the crap out of it. All right, you're back. The above comments from a previous witness. Go on.
Wait, what now? What am I doing?
Yeah, the email is still continuing. That was part of the email. So you're still on. You're on again.
Oh, okay. The above comments from a previous witness who also received with their application for an HPO is attached. Also, the comments from Clarence Woods Emerson, aka Turtle Boy, are attached. It's clear from the postings that the Stoughton court is directly involved in this dissemination of information affecting our murder prosecution. From the comments from one of the witnesses,
you can see that they have completely lost all confidence in the courts of the Commonwealth.
Hold on, stop. So his concern, and he's telling these judges that his concern is that Jennifer McCabe has lost all confidence in the courts of the Commonwealth. That is what is of a paramount importance here.
Yeah.
And remember, this is in September. This is after his hostage video. He published his hostage video in August of 2023, where he was in front of all those fake law books that were upside down and all out of order. And that's when he said
Colin Albert was not in the house.
So he's ramping up. He is ramping up.
He's getting,
and he's escalating. His behavior is escalating. As you can see, we are watching. Really? We are reading the diary of a madman, quite possibly.
Pretty much.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Keep going. I'll be right back.
All right. I have to agree that the actions erode the trust and integrity between the courts and the public and the relationship with the district attorney's office. We are extremely concerned that the improperly disseminated court material unsolicited to a third party, which is continuing to cause harm and damage to a witness in an ongoing homicide prosecution, must be a violation of court policies or a potential violation of law. This needs to stop. We also understand that Aidan Kearney had also immediately requested copies of the FTR record that was made on 9/28/23. Again, there was no way that he would have or should have known that hearing took place. There are a number of concerns that we have about the possibility of having a file ongoing motions or other requests for warrants before this court that will affect the orderly and fair administration of justice. These actions are completely unacceptable and must be resolved immediately. I understand that you have to do an investigation, and that may take time, but you also have to provide us with some evidence and assurance that you have taken action so we can safely continue to use the clerk's office of the Stoughton District Court. We have a number of delicate matters before them on a day-to-day basis. I await your advice. Sincerely, Michael Morrissey, Meatball Morrissey, District Attorney.
Wow. First of all, that was beautiful. Thank you so much for doing that. I had to go off camera because I couldn't stop laughing and I didn't want to distract you. Here's what just one of the interesting things about this letter to me is that Michael Morrissey is basically threatening the judiciary of Stoughton. Okay. He's the district attorney. He's not the boss of the judges.
Right. He's like throwing his weight around like where it don't go.
He's like legit threatening the judges. Like this is just, it's insane. Like who does this? He's a madman.
That's why I don't find any sound. Like when I hear these BS experts on like Court TV or on Canton Confidential or whatever, and they're talking about how this is a good move on Michael Morrissey to hire Hank, whatever the hell is it, Brennan, Hank Brennan as the, like, no, it's not. It's a Hail Mary. This is all this guy has been doing is throwing Hail Marys this entire time. This is a desperate, this dude thinks that if he hires, two reasons. I went over this in my last live stream. He hired this guy, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, for two reasons, right? This guy is a defense attorney, and he is a high-profile defense attorney, and he feels like Lally failed at getting a hold of the jury, capturing the jury. He figures Lally can't do it. I'll bring in a flashy defense attorney to do that. The other reason he's doing it is because ever since the beginning, since I've been following this case, I've noticed from pretrial motions moving forward into the trial that the prosecution has been playing defense the entire time, and it is very telling as to what is going on here. And that is, if a jury catches on to that, they're screwed. So there's a constant them playing defense. So why not hire a high-profile, sleazy mob defense attorney to play defense against the defense's accusations in the third-party culprit defense?
When it could be argued that he is really defending the mob.
Right.
Go
Right.
figure. It's very mob-like, isn't it? I mean, this guy, the district attorney of Norfolk County, is threatening the judges in Stoughton. Like, who does that? From his private iCloud
it's
email,
wild.
no less.
He feels like bold, man.
And all of that was on behalf of Jen McCabe.
Right.
Why is she so important that he would potentially risk his law license
Right.
to defend Jen McCabe?
It's the Alberts. It's the Alberts. It has to be. It comes back to the Alberts. Remember, in the timeline, and this is what was interesting. One of the most interesting things about Turtle Boy's article on this was he basically paints a timeline. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, yeah, this all started when Jen McCabe and Chris Albert failed to get these charges, to get O'Malley to charge Turtle Boy, right? And so then what happens? Then Morrissey gets a panic, and then next thing you know, he's railroaded. You know what I mean? And then he's locked up because he's railroaded in a separate incident. So it started with Jen McCabe and Chris Albert.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Morrissey wanted something done. Because that didn't happen. So he got pissed. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So we'll try not to drop the F-bomb. Anything else? It's after dark. It's Melanie after dark, so we're good. Yeah, but why are these
went on a
so
rant
important?
there.
Why are they so important?
I don't know. I went on a rant there. Did I cuss during that rant?
No.
I don't. Okay, I didn't think I was like, wait a minute.
It's okay. I have the Mr. T keychain. Hold on. It's okay. I have the Mr. T keychain.
Because I tend to cuss on my rants, and then I was like, wait a minute. I didn't even.
Okay. You know where you are.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't give me back talk.
It's so funny that you have one of those. I had one of those. One of those exact things.
This is the best one. Here's the best one. Listen.
Don't make me mad.
Don't make me mad. Quit your jibber jabber.
I mean, we could use every single one of these for this case constantly. Every single one.
Your live stream just took a hard left turn. You know that, right?
What do you mean? Did everyone leave?
No, I'm saying.
Are we alone?
it just turned into.
We had 4,838 people here.
Playing with a Mr. T toy.
Well, that's okay. Don't give me no back talk, sucker. Here's the thing. Okay, so the next exhibit is the contract of Ken Mello, and so they were pointing out, and Bederow comes with receipts that September 20th is when he was retained. Oh, and look at that. Oh, I got to pull this up. Now. Look at this. Look how much they're paying him. He's getting $400 an hour.
$400 an hour, yeah.
Oh, wait a second. And the other guy, Brennan, who's far more qualified and far more prestigious, is only getting $250 an hour. He's getting a Timu rate.
Right. Why is that happening? Like, that is the one thing that I can't come up with some sort of rationale for.
Because my guess, if I had to guess, I would think maybe Hank Brennan wants to be the next DA of Norfolk County.
Ooh.
Maybe. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense to me.
That makes a lot of sense.
You cannot run your defense practice while you are being the special assistant district attorney in Norfolk County. You cannot run your defense practice. For him to take a huge pay cut at $250 an hour for a $75,000 cap, and that contract, by the way, runs all the way through next June. So that's like a 9-month contract for 75 grand. Come on. Dude. Why would anyone do that unless you had political aspirations? That's my theory. I don't know if that's true or not, but who would want this job?
Right. There's nothing to gain from it, and it's unwinnable. It's unwinnable.
Ladley didn't even want this job. We saw him stumble into the courthouse every single day with his head down like a character out of like Peanuts. You know, who was the one who was always like mopey and whatever from Charlie Brown? That's what he was like every single day. He hated going to work.
Charlie Brown was the mopey one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always the one feeling sorry for himself.
Right. He did not want that job. He was like Eeyore, like a sad sack.
Yeah,
Was
totally.
not more, it could not be more obvious that he didn't
There
want that
was
job.
Yeah, I was never more or sorry, I was never less impressed with someone in person than when I saw Lally walk by me while I was sitting in that courtroom. I remember feeling unimpressed.
Tell us
Like
how you
that
really
never
feel.
happens. That never happens. You know what I mean? Either you feel impressed or you don't feel nothing. I felt unimpressed. If that makes any sense.
Well, tell us how you really feel. Tell us why you
I
felt that way.
I
What
was
made you feel that way?
I was overwhelmed with underwhelm.
Overwhelmed with underwhelm.
Like, yeah.
The underwhelm was overwhelming.
That's the only way I can explain it. Like he walked by me and he was just like, fuck my life. Sorry about that. Sorry.
We just
but
hit
he was
70K. We hit 70K. Yay. Thanks for being here, Will.
Yes, right on.
You're here
That's
with me for
amazing.
that. We get a cake. My kids get a cake. My kids get me a rainbow cookie cake. Yay, I got a cake. Thanks, you guys.
No. See,
That's
Pigpen was
amazing.
happy. Yeah.
Yay. Thank you all.
This is amazing. I wish I
Guys are
had my
amazing.
applause track for you right now. This is
Me too,
fantastic.
because there's nothing better than Kate Winslet getting up to give me a standing up.
70K, dude.
I love that. I love her. All right. That's awesome. Thanks, you guys.
That is. That's amazing.
All right. Who is this guy? Who's Brandon Hunt? So,
I don't know.
well, this is an email that they refer to. This is an exhibit. Oh, okay. So this has to do with the contract for Mellow Yellow. And this is when they're negotiating the contract. Here we
Yeah.
go. This is the
It's
thing.
fun stuff.
We're negotiating the contract. His rate is $400 an hour. I will put the maximum obligation at $30,000, but then I think they kept increasing it because I think he's made like well over six figures on
This
the persecution of Aiden Kearney.
so crazy.
I think.
I can't
Six-
believe this, dude.
How about a six-figure, like don't even show up kind of job? Don't turn stuff over. And then when you get into court, just lie about it.
Can you
Lie,
imagine?
deny till you die.
Imagine being Aiden Kearney and this situation being so crazy that you find it more humorous than infuriating because it's that
Yeah.
crazy. Imagine that. Like, because that's exactly what's going on with Aiden Kearney. Like he is laughing at this. And it's
Is he?
like
Because
he
I would
is.
be outraged. I don't know if I could laugh. I mean, he spent 60 days in jail for this.
Right. But he's like, if you listen to him talk about it, dude, like he's like, let's F. Like he has
Yeah.
been enthusiastic about this fight.
We say duck. We say duck over here.
Consistently, yes, duck. He was like, let's duck.
Right.
And he has been consistently enthusiastic about this fight since he was charged. Like
Yeah.
he called my show from the jail and he was like stoked, like hyped everybody up. He was like, dude, this place is nothing, dude. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah. I met this guy, but he was in the highest of spirits because he knew exactly why he was sitting in jail and how things were going to play out eventually.
I think so. But I think also he's been very open about the fact that when he was sitting in there, it was a very hard,
we all watched it in real
lonely,
time.
lonely time.
Oh, of course. Like, I'm not saying jail was pleasant for him.
No,
I'm
I know,
saying
but
he remained in high spirits and enthusiastic about this fight consistently, is what
I
I'm
think
saying.
because he knew that he was right. Like he got it like anything else I was saying before, like always trust your gut. Like your gut and your intuition is there
When you
for a
have the
reason.
truth, when you
Right.
have the truth as a sword and a shield, like you're good. I would, you know what I mean? I'd like to
Mhm.
think in theory, if I was in his position, I would be the exact same way. I'd like to think that.
But how validating is it for him now that while he has been speculating all of these things, that all the receipts are now coming in, that he was right. He was right. And so many people discounted him and his reporting. They call him a blogger, like it's some sort of insult, and he's not good enough to have a media pass, like all the rest of us
It's
people
so
who work for like
dismissive. It's so
NBC
passive.
10 and
It's so passive aggressively dismissive to just
Yeah.
keep calling him a blogger,
I know.
the blogger named Turtle Boy. It's just so minimizing. And I truly believe it's simply because mainstream media feels threatened by him. Management in mainstream media feels threatened by him, not him, but what he represents and what he could be inspiring.
Yeah.
Because if they were to credit him and say the blogger Turtle Boy found this and published this and this time, and it led to this being used as evidence in the trial.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's so much exculpatory evidence that Turtle Boy uncovered through his own investigations that if they were to do that, what it's going to do is get the whole world talking about this, because that's all this craziness is what the mainstream media is leaving out.
Right.
And they have to, because Turtle Boy is the one who's credited for finding it and uncovering it. So then now that this is the case, they're going to be afraid that they're going to inspire a bunch of little turtle boys that are going to run around and do exactly what he's doing and put them out of business. And they're going to they have to compete. The only way to compete is by reporting the truth. That scares the living hell out of them.
Right. And they have to filter themselves, and he doesn't. He has no filter. And that's why some people find him abrasive and, obnoxious and, not palatable. And people didn't like to hear about him and his reporting, but he turned out to be right. And now that Bederow is involved in this, who's a lawyer, both Bederow and Bradel of high integrity are getting involved in this, and not just getting involved in it, but so passionate about it. It's as a defense attorney, I would imagine that you always do your job and you always, give it the old college try, even when your client's guilty as hell. But in this case, like, they believe in it, right?
Like Reddington.
I know exactly. That's exactly
it comes to mind every time. Like, it's still too fresh.
I know. I can't wait to go over the winter. I can't wait until that case comes up. That's Turk, right?
Yeah, that's Turk.
All right. So this next exhibit that I want to look at is the one, a KP's Facebook post. Do you have an impression of her that you could grace us with?
I could try, but I mean, all I can do is just sound like a snarky Karen. I could do that.
That'll work. All right. This is the doxing, if you will, of the woman who they claimed was responsible for leaking information to Turtle Boy from the Stoughton District Court. This is who they're saying is the mole.
Funny
this is what she posted on Facebook.
Yeah, which is funny, the timing that she did that.
Yep. And then they put a picture of her, which Mark Bederow kindly redacted. They love to do this to people, by the way. It's like their favorite thing to do.
Yeah, it's just so funny because, like, I went on a rant about how, look at the type of people that the Massachusetts State Police and the Norfolk County District Attorneys have associated themselves, have aligned themselves with.
Not just aligned themselves with, colluded with, conspired
colluded
with, and hired. They
basically worked with.
Person.
Yes, basically worked with. Yes,
right.
Like colleagues.
You were being kind. Yeah,
colleagues, basically, right? And what does that say? I mean, they're
the chosen people. The chosen, like they're the chosen people.
Right.
They're going to be one of the 144,000 that are going to survive the Armageddon or whatever.
Right. So if Kate Peter is a pig in a poopy pen, then you've got Tully and Mello who are wrestling around with her in the pen. Guess what? They're going to smell like the poopy pen too.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know what they say, Will? They say don't ever wrestle with a pig because you're both going to be muddy, but the pig is going to like it.
Right.
Something like that. My delivery wasn't so great on that. I don't think that's exactly it, but you know what I'm saying. Look at Joe Flipperhead. Yeah. Joe Flipper's head calls them the dumbest people in the world.
Yeah, because that's the quote. That's Turtle Boy. The dumbest people in the world
Mhm.
are on that side. The plebans of the world.
Oh, speaking of, did since our show the other night, did GSE Grant reach out to you to want to come on your show?
No, come on. He's never gonna do that. He's never gonna do that.
All right, so
But
here's the Facebook
invitation is
post.
there. The invitation is open for him.
You're like, who? The Anointed. Yeah, the Anointed. Exactly. KP has the right name on her blog, Masshole Report. Here it is. I don't know. I don't go on Twitter, so I don't know if she's been ramping up today or if she's doubling down or is she like, saying this is no big whoop or like.
I don't know. I haven't checked to see what she's saying.
Hmm.
It's probably actually a really good idea.
All right. If you want to do that, I'll read it. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Masshole Report said on Facebook, this lovely lady is Michelle Littlefield. If you're down at Stoughton District Court, you can rest easy. Your personal information is safe for the time being, as she was perp walked out today and put on suspension pending an internal investigation. What is it that Karens like to say? You work for me? Well, Michelle, you effing scumbag, you work for us. And your decision to share sensitive information entrusted to you through the court to further harass and stalk a civilian really caught up quick. Trust and believe it's going to follow you around too. You will be getting more attention soon, as will our new friend Janelle. Hope both your careers were worth it. And posted a picture of her. And that is now an exhibit in the court file. And how else would she know that information? Except for she had the cell phone numbers of Tully and Mello. They did the same thing to me when they thought that I was Haley Walbrecht, and they threatened me with all kinds of stuff because Haley Walbrecht released those Lindsay Gattani documents or her cell phone dump or something about Lindsay. And did they threaten me. They came for me. Masshole Mafia, Karma knows your address, babe. How does it feel? I mean, they wanted to have me disbarred, between her and Grant and all their other little minions and their little, rats that scurry around following them and picking up their crumbs. Yeah, they were wrong about that. So I'm still waiting for my apology. Thank you very much.
I mean, it feels good out in the sun, doesn't it? It feels good.
What are they? The sunshine is
yeah.
Some kind of disinfectant. And here's another post now. This is the DM. She slid into the DMs of either Yannetti or Jackson, one of them, right after something. I can't remember now. My mind is mush. It's been a long day of streaming. And so Masshole Mafia then DM'd this to one of Karen's attorneys, either Jackson or Yannetti. We know you're involved.
It was Yannetti, I believe.
He didn't say in the letter, so I'm not sure. But if you say so,
I think Aiden said it in his article.
Okay.
I think. But I'm 90% sure that when I was reading this stuff on my live stream, I saw that it was Yannetti.
And this was Wednesday, October 11th, which was the day of his arrest at his kid's bus stop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Kate Peter had posted he's going to get arrested on the 10th, and then it was on the 11th, and then she had texted them saying what time the bus would come, right? Because she'd been surveilling him, doing recon for the MSP.
And on the there's a recording of the radio communication between the MSP officers just when they infiltrated the bus or followed the bus, and they named KP as their informant.
Right. Oh, so you read his article today to your audience. So if you guys haven't watched it yet,
you can
watch
hear
the replay.
It's in his article. There's the recording of the communication, and it's so they're so like hardcore, it's so dragnet, like SWAT, like Starsky and Hutch. Yeah. It's such a serious thing. School buses and rubber duckies, dude. This is school buses, and we're gonna get the Turtle Boy, man. And they were so coordinated to get the guy on trumped up charges. It was ridiculous.
Well, they were. I mean, listen, it gives Karen Reed's case so much more. Her theory of the third party culprit so much more so much more credibility because
Yeah.
there's a reason why they wanted to shut him up. There's a reason why they wanted to put him in jail. He was getting a little too close to the truth.
Right. And
And all
what's
the people that
fascinating,
he was speaking out about, you can see in Morrissey's messages, he's trying to protect John McCabe. Why?
absolutely.
Why?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's the big question. And through Turtle Boy's trial, they are going to prove that these people are corrupt. They're going to prove it, that he was absolutely framed. How ironic is it that they were trying to shut this man up for trying to prove that they are capable of framing Karen Reed, and now he can prove that those very same people framed him for trying to expose them framing Karen Reed. That is a work of art in and of itself.
It's a masterpiece. And it's ironic. And it's almost like they made their own bed because
It's beautiful.
they want to charge him with witness intimidation. Every single one of them is going to have to get up on the witness stand in his trial. From Proctor to Chris Albert to Jen McCabe to Colin Albert to Brian Albert, every single one of those, I think there's something like 10 witnesses that he's accused of intimidating. And
Yeah.
Proctor and Buchanan are going to have to get up and say, yeah, this man, I'm afraid of him. He scares me. He not only does he scare me, but he hurt my feelings.
The Norfolk County DA's office and the Massachusetts State Police went out and broke off their own switch from a tree, handed it to Turtle Boy, and Turtle Boy is whipping their butts right now.
It's like, you better want what you wish for. You better want what you wish for. And I don't know that his trial date is before Karen's, but if it was, man, that would blow the whole lid off the whole entire thing because all that testimony is fair game. I wish they could move up the trial date. And it almost makes me think, like, will they just drop the charges against Aiden? Just
I mean,
so
that's their
that
best
the people
bet.
that they've been trying to protect all along don't have to get up and testify and embarrass themselves further?
Right. That's what I was just going to say. That's their best bet, is to just drop the charges and hope that there's nothing that can be done going further on Turtle Boy's end and his
Right.
defense team. Because at this point, Bederow is saying, we're coming for you. He put it in writing and filed it, saying,
We got your number.
we're coming for you.
Yeah.
Like, just sit there, sit tight. It'll be soon.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Sleep well,
And
Mr. Mello
think
and Mr.
about-
Morrissey. Sleep well. Sweet
and
dreams.
think about the effect that that's going to have on the Karen Reed case, because now Turtle Boy has proven that they are capable of framing someone.
That's right.
Turtle
Right.
Boy has just proven this.
Someone who
imagine
didn't
what-
allegedly kill a Boston police officer, by the way.
Right.
Someone who may have just hurt some people with his words.
Right. Right.
Right?
Exactly.
He's not
He
a
hurt a lot of
cold-blooded murderer.
He hurt the fifis of the very people who the Commonwealth is trying to protect. For what reason? And I'm talking through the investigation into the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
Right.
They were protecting these people.
And that's what any person with common sense and any sense of logic needs to ask themselves. Why? Why would they do that? Where's the motive for that? What's the motive? Who are these people? Why are they so important? What do they got on you? District attorney.
The motive is because one of them is responsible for the death of Boston police officer John O'Keefe.
But how
the
is
early
that
morning
person
of January
or
29th.
people so powerful that the district attorney is willing to risk his entire career, his livelihood, his freedom on them?
That's where
Why?
my faith in Josh Levy comes in, because I don't have a choice. I have to believe in Josh Levy at this point, because that's where it is an abyss. I have no idea why.
Yeah.
I can't even speculate why the McAlberts are so powerful. But they are the ones I believe. I mean, you have it's not a coincidence that after because we discussed this earlier, after Jen McCabe's and Chris Albert's attempt and O'Malley's denial of this, um, make no mistake, Ken Mello is the one who directly called the Canton Police Department to report
Hmm.
the Canton Nine that were across the street from D&E. So the focus is not Ken Mello. The focus is D&E because who do you think called Ken Mello?
Chris
And why
Albert.
is Ken Mello, the special prosecutor, directly calling the Canton Police Department and then telling
Mhm.
them about Chapter 28, 13A, and 13B?
Look at you
Right?
quoting statutes from Massachusetts. Wow, you
Okay.
listen, you
Yeah.
absorb.
So,
Well done.
oh, thanks. Um,
It's a gold star.
so
Oh, so
yeah.
cute.
So he quotes that to the sergeant, and then the sergeant is stuck because the sergeant didn't even, he was like, well, they can protest if they want, that's their right.
Mhm.
And
Right.
then he goes, I want you to take a look at chapter 28, 13A, 13B. And that's it. Like, and
There
then
is audio of that call.
they charge these people. And they didn't want to. They didn't want to charge them. But they were acting on Mello's behest. But the thing is Mello had the only reason that only somebody with that kind of pull could get Mello to directly talk to and report the to report to the Canton police. So that had to come from Chris Albert. So Chris Albert has got greasy, dirty hands, and the buttons on the Norfolk County DA's office have grease and dirt all over it.
Look at TT says that you're very handsome and your smile is beautiful. Oh,
Oh,
that's so
thank you.
sweet. So here's the DM that Kate Peter or Catherine Peter or Masshole slid into Yannetti or Jackson's DMs on Twitter. We know you're involved in Aiden Kearney's little witness harassment game, and your texts with him have already been making the rounds. Buckle up, Buttercup, because she knew that they were already in Aiden's phone and that they were being sent around by the meat. Why do they call him meatball?
That's
Oh, this is
what
the end of the. This is the
no,
end of the exhibit.
that was that oh no, okay, yeah. I'm not sure who started Meatball. I think it was Aiden, but Howie Carr called him Pass the Gravy.
Oh, he did?
Michael passed the yeah, he's all Michael passed the gravy, Morrissey.
Oh, that's funny.
He's Howie Carr. I love Howie Carr's banter with Turtle Boy and with Sean McDonough. It's so fun. It's so fun.
We should play. Aiden was on Howie Carr today, but unfortunately this video is 3 hours and 39 minutes.
Right.
What?
I don't you need a timestamp, and I don't know where that timestamp is.
Oh wait, I'm listening to it.
Lunchbox Lally. Oh man.
Oh, here, wait. I think I found it. Because I can hear Aiden's voice again. Oh, let's go to the chat for a minute while I find it. Letting up. You can't hear it, right? It's playing in my ear. Okay.
I can't hear it now.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Shelley, for becoming a new member, and Grace Pace for your very Gen Z song recommendation, Burn the House Down by AJR. Susie CJ says it's exhilarating to see the power of standing up in the face of adversity and changing shit. Love Bederow. I was a fan before. Oh,
It's true, man. Like people are getting juice. You know what I mean? Like people are, they're feeling it
right.
from fighting for something and seeing results starting to happen. It's a cool feeling. It's a really cool feeling.
It's kind of like, I mean, really, validation. So many people have been thinking this all stuff for so long that it's kind of like, wow, it really is true. We've been gaslit into thinking that we're conspiracy theorists
Well, the
and that
attempt
he
was
is
there,
making all
but
this up.
right. And the attempt was there, but it was just like, dude, he keeps bringing receipts. I don't know why why you're sitting here looking at this and saying it's not what it is.
Like
You know
he's an
what I mean?
amazing investigative journalist, right?
He
I don't think
is.
anybody can deny that. Thank you, What the
No.
Duckling, for being with me all day. I appreciate you.
And he's tenacious and he's protective of his sources because he knows how valuable they are.
Mhm.
And he knows that telling the truth is going to be the most valuable commodity for his brand. If they can rely on him to state the facts, well, then they've got a reliable brand, don't they?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, who'd have thunk it? Colleen Elizabeth, thank you for gifting 5 memberships. I appreciate you so much. I love the glare in all of his edginess. As an at-home mom, I find it funny how much I think in glare is lingo. Love you both. Thank you, Susie CJ. I'll give you the
Right
250 for that one. Patty, thanks for becoming a new member. CPU mod coming in. Big fan.
CPU
Thanks to the
mod,
5
right
for the
on.
song list. Insane in the Membrane. Cypress Hill Bad Boys, Inner Circle, love you, Melanie, and mods and chat. Love from Crazy Boston. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for your for your city. Boston's burning, people. Boston is burning. Love you guys doing the Boston accent. She also says. And Zelda Kelly, I think optics short contract over fast. You think, I don't know, I think he might have political aspirations. We're talking about Brennan. 69.9. Now come on, 70K. We got it, Laura. We got it. Thank you. That must have been a long time ago. Desiree says, yes, that's exactly what I thought about Brennan. Political aspirations to Attorney General. Congrats on 70K. Thank you, thank you, thank you. PJM, thanks to 5. Perhaps Littlefield should be a witness and can then get protection. She may have more info. Maybe. Christine, could you do a road so far video on Turtle Boy's case? I've picked up bits and pieces from the Bederow letters and Twitter, but would like to understand it all. I think Mark Bederow's strange credulity was a nod to you. I don't know, maybe like a wink and a nod. A wink and a nod.
Man, I'm
Christy,
telling
that's
you,
a good
man.
idea. Will, tell Melanie what I think of Plevin, says some guy with cancer.
Oh, this is
I'm here for it.
So this dude made me lose. Okay. This guy made me lose it on a live stream that I was doing because this guy really has cancer. He's called.
I know,
in
I
to-
say that every time. I said, I'm sorry about your cancer, but thanks for the super chat.
He's called into the show before, and he said, I was streaming. I think it was the God, who was it that I was streaming? I think it was the wine lady that was with Plevin
Oh, yeah.
in that live stream. And he said, this lady makes me root for my cancer.
God.
And I lost it. I was like,
All right, some guy with
"That is
cancer,
the
you
darkest-"
win.
I was like, that is the darkest super chat I've ever gotten. I think it's the darkest super chat in the history of super chats. I feel like it is.
I think so too. I think we have to give him an award.
Yeah.
And also wish him good health and hope that you go into remission really soon because you deserve it.
I almost felt guilty laughing so hard about it too. It was really uncomfortable, but it was so good.
Andrea Clark says it was the Timu Coffin Doffer.
Right up my alley of a brand of comedy. Absolutely.
The Timu Coffin Doffer is who it was. Thank you, Kat Randall, for gifting a membership and Patty for becoming a member. Edward Kirkpatrick says, as soon as Turtle Boy is free of criminal charges, he's going to go after them civilly. They can't just drop charges, as civil will kick in unless they settle. Oh, that's a great point.
I mean, dude, this is going to
That's
be.
right. That's a great point. There's a lot of money at stake.
This is just starting. This is just starting.
Buckle up, buttercups. Praise be. We're loving it. Glamasus, thanks. Will Cosgrove and Brennan resign after all of this? I don't know. They're not implicated in it, so why would they?
Right. Yeah.
They're cashing checks right now. They're just cashing checks. And then they could come in as like the cleanup crew, right?
Did you
He'd be
see
like,
my
"Oh,
comment? Did you see my comment about Mello? Because you were talking about that he was reprimanded a couple of times by the bar.
yeah, he was sanctioned." I
I,
didn't see the comment because I was
I talked about that when he first when Turtle Boy was first charged. And one of the things, if I remember correctly, like the best I can remember, because it was over a year ago,
Mhm.
Was that he was representing a defendant, a guy charged with something, whatever. But he faced
as most
jail
defendants
time.
are.
Right. He was facing jail time or whatever, or he was already in jail or something like that. But supposedly he had evidence and the records of the case, and he was still taking payments from the guy for, you know, his retainer and for and lawyer fees, and he refused. He wouldn't represent the guy. He just ghosted him and wouldn't give him the records that he needed to give to his new attorney to represent him. So the bar reprimanded him for that. But that's the only one that I remember offhand.
Sometimes they're made public, sometimes they're not. So it would depend if it was a public sanction, but stealing client money is like a big one. That's like a big no-no. That'll get
Dude,
you,
yeah,
especially if like
just
he didn't
blew
use
it
up the whole
off.
retainer and he owed him money and he just didn't pay him
He
back. I'm not
just-
sure.
He just blew his client off, dude, and just let him rot in jail. That's so messed up. Like,
Yeah.
this is only that kind of guy could take on a case like Turtle Boys and do the things that he's done. You know what I mean? It takes that level of character, that ick,
Mm-hmm. It sure does. Here's the Howie Carr show from tonight. He had a fun time with this. I listened to this live. I think it was on at like 4:33. Let's hear what he's got to say about it. And then Turtle Boy comes on his show.
Facebook or tell me any of the stuff.
I love Howie Carr with this case.
They're looking through the phone because they confronted her with data extraction.
Wait, is this the interview? Wait.
Driven by its growing use in solar panels, electric
Solar panels.
He has a lot of commercials.
Brought the Massachusetts court system.
And the sound on the video was bad. When I switched it to the radio, it was good.
Yeah, it's not very good.
With code Howie20, FLIP.
It's not very good. And it's not really something that you need to watch. And just listening to it is good enough. So
I mean, yeah, it's fun to hear Aiden's like
I'll see if I can find the audio.
Banter with him about it, but yeah,
this is going to have like far-reaching implications, and the ripple effects of this are going to be enormous. And I wonder if everyone here understands like how huge this is in the grand scheme of things here. Like, this is major.
You're not exaggerating,
Right?
Melody.
Thank
You're
you.
not exaggerating, Melody.
I can do that. I can be hyperbolic, but
no. Yeah, this is a masterpiece on Bederow's part, and Turtle Boys. You have to give it to Turtle Boy. They're going to people are going to write about this, and they're going to make documentaries about this.
There could be some awards involved, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. But I don't know if anybody would ever, award any awards to an independent journalist. I feel like, they just don't do that.
He is an award-winning journalist.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure there's got to be something.
I don't know what
the man sat in jail for 2 months, basically, in a nutshell, to protect everyone's First Amendment rights. So,
right. Isn't that worth something?
Sure.
In addition to whatever he can get from a jury on a civil lawsuit.
He's got
How many zeros do you think the jury's going to put on that check? They're going to need a bigger check.
Oh, look, he's in the chat. He's saying he's getting his first Dundee this year.
All right. Where is he? Oh,
that's actually awesome.
Yay.
Yeah, dude.
We hope we did the Bederow letter justice.
Yeah, man.
Aiden. I'm trying to find the Howie Carr clip, but I can't find it in the Michigas of his website, Howie's website, not yours. And also his Twitter, the audio is not that great. So we were trying to give you a little play your piece from earlier today. I was laughing while I was listening to it. I listened to it live. So thank you for entertaining us this afternoon. But maybe you guys, if you feel like it, can go to Howie Carr's website and find it, or somebody can clip it. Flipperhead talking to you. Maybe you could clip it. Oh, thank you, Turtle Boy. He says, you guys are great. Glad your outrage is. This is like high level corruption. This is like
dude.
high level lying to the court. This is like, this should be taught in law schools is what not to do, right? Because David Yannetti, I remember once in open court in pretrial, said that he has a friend who's a law professor or something. And he said that this law professor was using Michael Morrissey's hostage video to teach his class what not to do if you're elected DA. And this is also going to be another example of what not to do if you're a special ADA, or really any lawyer ever. You don't go in and you do not lie to the court in open court when there are receipts that you are lying about the very thing that you are lying about. And then you don't double down and keep lying about it every single time you're asked. And then, just not address it, or, pull a Jen McCabe, like, well, you didn't ask me the right question, or can you show me the transcript?
So crazy.
It's a problem.
This whole thing is, wow.
Does it reach the level of criminality? I don't know. Does it reach the level of you might lose your law license over it? Could. Especially if you have multiple sanctions already. Because, they look at your record. It's kind of like a rap sheet for a lawyer. Like the judge is not going to be so favorable on you if you come in and you've got a rap sheet a mile long and you're busted on your 15th DWI. They're not going to be so like, okay, you just let them out. Same with lawyers. Thank you, GP Dog Drill, for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you to Julie, not Rico Suave.
And those have been following me since I started following this. Like, we used to talk about, we don't understand why this dude Mello, and then it made sense when we saw that it's got to be that he has nothing to lose, or they have something on him.
Right.
But he's also getting $400 an hour for
Mello is, yeah.
Right. So it's like, wait a minute, that, when he's making that much, there's something else going on here. Like, what? Maybe I don't know.
Did you follow the Fonnie Willis case at all? out of Fulton County, Georgia? Fonnie Willis is the district attorney down there in Fulton County, and she hired her boyfriend, Nathan Wade, to be the special prosecutor, the special ADA down there. And, it was a whole nepotism thing, like you're insinuating, I think, a little bit. And Nathan Wade turned out, she was, banging him and going on vacations with him and all kinds of stuff. They paid him something like, I don't know, $450,000. Those of you who are following the Fonnie Willis, Nathan Wade debacle.
Wow.
600 grand. They paid him 600 grand. Yeah. Are you talking about Fonnie Willis? Yeah. It's insane. So you're right. That's what happens. Like, you hire your friends, you give them and 400 is not a good rate, to be honest with you. That's a pretty hefty discount too. Good attorneys in Boston, Quinn Emanuel, who just filed the brief for the ACLU in the Karen Reed case, they bill out at about $1,700 to $2,000 an hour. That's no joke. So 400 is still kind of cheap. It's still like on the Sheen, maybe not the Temu level, but it's Sheen level. Those who know in the chat.
Well, it's a lot more than Brennan is getting, which is weird.
Yeah, but a lot less than any lawyer worth his salt is getting. Like,
Sure.
How much do you think Reddington bills out?
Well, but he's a lot, I'm sure. But I know
Plumbers
that
are practically making $400 an hour now, for God's sake.
Mello, listen, I'm telling you, in real time, when this was all going down from the beginning, all me and my chat talked about was, this is the worst lawyer I've ever seen in my life.
Mello?
Yeah. I've
never watched any of his hearings.
Dude.
I feel like we need to go back. It's going to have to be a rewatch. We're going to have to be on replay for these hearings. We're going to have to play them.
I'm so down for that.
I've never seen them.
Oh, it's so much fun to watch. It's frustrating but it's fun to watch. And it's nice to see Bradel get spicy too, because Bradel will just like be like, man.
I mean, who was televising them?
Well, there's usually a Zoom link or something like that for them, and then I'll usually stream them live.
Or was it like Canton Community TV? Because I met that guy when I was in court one day, and he was so very nice to me. I think we took a picture together. He took a picture with me.
9 out of 10
He was really nice. I don't know his name.
9
Really
out
nice
of 10
guy.
times I streamed it on the from the Zoom link.
Okay, we're gonna have to go back and do that because there's so many people in my community who are like, can you give us a, like a, I don't know what they said, like a recap video of all the stuff that's gone on so far? Because now
I mean,
everyone's really
stream
interested
them.
in
We can go over my streams,
it.
of them.
Or we can find the raw footage and then we can commentate live, which is
We
even
can
more
find the raw
fun.
footage even better for sure.
Yeah. Julio Not Rico Suave says Tully is the very worst. Dirty, deleting, exonerating text messages, absolute psychopathy, no regard for right and wrong. I bet even my in-laws agree. Oh, Julio Not Rico Suave for the win. Tully, say no more. Kelly, Duckin Bukwaki, thanks for the 10. Do you think it's possible that Morrissey is trying to flip on his MSP buddies to try to blame them for all of this corruption, to try to save himself? Hiring mob lawyer, reopening evidence. Love ya. I don't think so.
I mean, how?
My impression is that he's afraid of them. That's my impression. Because that hostage video, if you guys haven't watched it, I've played it many times. It is literally like he's reading a script and someone is off camera holding a firearm at his head. And they're like, you read this and you read it like you mean it. Otherwise, we're going to have problems.
Figuratively, that makes the most sense as to what happened. Figuratively, I mean, basically, like, dude, you're going to get up there and you're going to, like, say something, do something.
Tell them Colin was never in the house. Tell them the guy never went in the house.
Right. You need to get the public on our side because this is bad. And that's totally what he did. He sat up there and absolutely violated the ethics of a district attorney and sat there and just and stated these things as fact.
And that was in August. And then all this started happening with Aiden, like by October, and they're setting him up. They're setting up the bowling pins, and they're all doing all this stuff behind the scenes. Like the timing of this,
it's very orchestrated.
Suspect, yeah,
it's very orchestrated.
GP Dog Drill says that you and Aiden in the car on the phone with Howie is hilarious.
Yeah, that's. I'd say that's up there as possibly my best live stream ever.
Oh, I have to go back. I think I did see that though.
Yeah,
because I think weren't you streaming from the car when you were recently there? And
I normally have had a tradition this past year of streaming Turtle Boys live on Howie Carr. Like he'll announce and he'll tweet and say, I'm on Howie at 4:05, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll already be live. And then and it happened a lot throughout the trial too. That's how it kind of picked up traction. And then so when I was in Boston this last time, we had just left his court hearing and he was giving me a ride home or a ride back to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, but yeah, you got to be quiet because I got Howie. I'm gonna call the Howie show in just a minute, and I was like, do you care if I stream it? Like, because I kind of have this tradition, but how cool would it be if I'm actually in the car with you streaming it, and just with the camera on you, and he was like, yeah, go for it. Yeah. And then it was just the funniest thing in the world because it turned out to be bar none, hands down, the best Howie and Turtle Boy collaboration yet, because they were talking about the rubber duckies. And I was dying laughing, but I had to be quiet. So in the one scenario where I have to be quiet, I'm dying laughing at the funniest. It turns out to be the funniest Howie Carr and Turtle Boy exchange yet. And I just happen to be in the car where I have to be quiet.
And you got it live.
Yeah, it was so much fun.
That
It was
was
really funny.
very funny. Julio says, funny you mentioned Fonnie Willis. The judge in the YSL case today yeeted a law enforcement witness and struck all his testimony. That case, how long has that trial been going on for? I have not been following that at all. I don't even really know what it's about, that YSL case. Have you?
No.
Except there was one witness that was hilarious, and I forget his name. But just to put things in perspective, I just want to put this up on the screen for a second. I did a whole show on this, so I don't want to, beat a dead horse, but really isn't that what everything is in this case, is beating a dead horse? So here's the original letters that Meatball or Mr. Morrissey or District Attorney or DA Grandpa sent to Josh Levy. And the first one of them is May of 2023. So this is when he's first starting to like catch on that they may be like coming for him,
These
and
are
it's like,
fun.
are they coming for me? Like, are they coming for me? What's happening?
Yeah, these are fun because he's trying really hard not to like outright come out like he's worried and
Right.
concerned. Like it screams guilty of something all over it. It's really funny.
And then
especially
he starts
with what we know now.
Right. So in May of 2023, right away, dear First Assistant Levy, and he goes on and on and on, and he goes on and on and on about we have obligations. We have a constitutional duty to provide the defendant with exculpatory evidence. And he cites Brady and he cites everything, all the case law, right? On and on and on. And this was like, I'm ready to follow up on our conversation. So obviously he called him like in a panic. And this is in May. So this is like when,
right. And
when
which
when they started getting like the federal grand jury subpoenas, right? This is when people are like his cronies, maybe, or, maybe some witnesses in the Karen Reed case, like Jen McCabe, Brian Albert, or whoever, are like, dude, we're getting federal subpoenas now. What the F, what the duck is going on? So now he's starting to ramp up, asking, we have obligations. If you're investigating something, we need to know about it. But he's trying to be like real cool, calm, and collected about it, and pointing out all his, and that's what's so interesting. Oh, this is by that woman, Lynn.
For the life of me, figure out
Lynn.
why you would be investigating my office.
Right. We need to know what you know. We need to know everything because we have an obligation to provide it to the defendant. And then as the time goes on, the letters start like ramping up. Now in May 18th, he's writing a letter to the Office of Professional Responsibility. And this is when he's trying to back up his indictment because 40 individuals testified in front of the grand jury. And he goes on and on and on. And he says, we have an ongoing obligation to turn things over. And that, is this the one where he goes and accuses Rachel Rollins of having like a personal beef with him?
Yeah. That's his excuse.
He's
like, this is, he basically accuses this of being a witch hunt that was initiated by Rachel Rollins because she had a grudge against him because of some stupid thing that happened.
Yeah, she's got some.
I can't
there was some
remember
dopey thing. Yeah, he points out.
I
some
went
dopey
over
things.
these when these first came out. I went over these, but I haven't gone over them since they came out.
Look at this. I just noticed this for the first time. I mean, now because here we are. He's mentioning Whitey Bulger in this letter. Look at this.
Yeah, that's right.
I predicate the following information with the fact that it has been the policy of the Norfolk District Attorney's Office during my 12-year tenure as District Attorney to maintain a close working relationship with the U.S. Attorney from Massachusetts. Notable in that relationship was the cooperation of the Norfolk District Attorney's Office in the prosecution of a 35-year-old murder case that was committed in Sharon, Massachusetts, which involved the Whitey Bulger gang. Interesting. And then he hires Whitey Bulger's lawyer to come and re-prosecute Karen Reed.
Yeah. Because that doesn't track at all.
That's interesting. And then he's like, please, 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 please. And then he says, Rachel Rollins is has a personal thing against me. And this other woman has a personal thing against me. And that's the only reason that, she was coming for me. So why don't you just drop it, basically?
Yeah.
And then I submit that the pattern of using the U.S. Attorney's Office for personal purposes coupled with the obvious conflict of AUSA Chow, because Chow was also on his list of people that hated him, make it impossible to conclude that a fair evaluation of the unprecedented Reed intervention can be conducted by any party within the Massachusetts office. It's impossible to determine how far the tentacles of bias have spread out from the chief of the relevant unit and the titular head.
Do you see the fishing expedition that's going on here in writing? It's a fishing expedition in writing. He's fishing to find out what they're investigating him on.
Yeah.
And that is an indication to me that he has a lot to worry about, because he doesn't know where he needs to cover his tracks. He's trying to figure out where.
Yeah.
What are they on to me for? Is it this? Is it that? Is it this dirty thing I'm doing or that dirty thing I'm doing?
And the way that he chooses to try and figure it out is to seize Aidan Kearney's devices, to see what he can glean from those devices, to see if he's uncovered anything, because in his little way, Michael Morrissey does think that Aidan's a really good investigative journalist. And so if anybody's got the information on what's happening with this, the federal investigation against Morrissey, it's Aidan, right?
Yeah.
And then by June, Josh Levy's writing back. And then again, then Josh Levy comes into office and he's like, sorry, I haven't responded, but I'm transitioning into the office. Leave me alone. And then again, he's got Michael Morrissey has Lynn writing letters in June. So you can see this is like an escalation of a madman. Like he's going insane. He doesn't know what they know.
Right. Yeah. He's getting very desperate. Letter after letter, he gets more and more desperate. It's very, very fascinating to watch.
And here's October 12th, the day after Aidan's arrest. He wrote a letter to Josh Levy. Like he's trying to get at this from all angles. He's now got Aidan arrested. And he's writing to Josh Levy the next day. Like, hello, we have a trial date on Karen Reed. It's coming up March 12th. You got to tell us what you know, because we got to turn everything over.
And it's really funny how they pointed out how they have this constitutional obligation to provide exculpatory evidence, so on and so forth, right? But what's really funny is in both the Karen Reed trial and that case leading up to it, pre-trial mostly, and Turtle Boy's case specifically, they have issues with them not sharing evidence and discovery.
Yes.
So
and here he even says in his letter to Josh Levy, we have the obligation.
Two separate ADAs too.
Yeah. We have the obligation to disclose any promises, rewards, or inducements made to witnesses the party intends to present at trial. This is exactly what they want. This is exactly now what the Killer Bees want from the special ADA with regard to Catherine Peter, Mafia asshole. We want to know, what did you promise her? You're obligated to tell us. And now we know that Morrissey knows that he's obligated to tell him, because he's telling Levy that it's his obligation.
Hey, do you want to hear her tweet about this stuff?
Yeah, sure. As long as you say duck, as long as you substitute the word duck in there for anything. Are you talking about masshole now?
Yeah. There's no, She says, this was, let me refresh it. Did attorneys for Turtle Boy really just accuse me of doing surveillance for the Massachusetts State Police Fugitive Apprehension Unit? Are they doing drugs while they write this stuff? Laughing emoji, laughing emoji, laughing emoji. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up was for the comments, because nobody seems to be backing her up.
Oh, you think she got ratioed? Did she get ratioed? She got ratioed?
Somebody said, so is just the surveillance part wrong and everything else is correct, or are you denying all of it? Seems pretty weird to pick out one thing out of many he accused you of.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, if you go back to previous letters, Columbo, you know how often I have info. I talk to witnesses. The texts between me and LG about it have been attached to at least one of the Bederow's pathetic Dear John letters. If any of this was legit, they'd be writing motions.
I just want to point out, you know what a Dear John letter is, right?
Breakup.
It's like a breakup letter. So how does a Dear John letter even in any way, shape, or form describe
Well, here's
what
the
Bederow
thing.
wrote. It's like it's the wrong analogy, by the way.
Here's the thing about Kate Peter, Melanie. She's
Please
an idiot.
school me.
She's a moron. So she thinks that she's one of those morons who thinks that she's smart and smarter than everyone else.
Mm.
And then it's fun to watch these people because they're not. And so what they end up doing is they'll end up misusing terms and trying to sound smart. And then we just go, because the Dear John letter doesn't make any sense at all.
Right. No, it
Like,
doesn't.
that reference makes absolutely no sense to the context of what she's trying to say, because she's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
Right.
Back to the comments. Somebody says, "What are you drinking at 11:30 p.m.?" It's Crystal Light iced tea. Because you know,
energy.
remember Crystal Light came out in the Karen. Oh, look, Skull Buffs. Karen Reed trial. Remember Maddie McCabe? What his favorite drink was? If we were playing trivia right now, what would Maddie McCabe's drink be?
Oh, I get them all confused, but it was Jameson and ginger. No,
that was
Jameson,
Simpy Higgy.
Was it vodka, cranberry, and a splash of Crystal Light?
That's not a splash of Crystal Light.
Yeah.
Product placement.
What? A splash of Crystal Light. Dude. I can't even remember the last time I heard a grown man say the words Crystal Light before that. Never. I can't even remember.
What did he say when he was on the stand, when he was presented with those group text messages about tell him the guy never went in the house? He didn't say kill me, because that was Garino.
No.
He said something else.
He was just
You guys know what he said.
Yeah. Matt McCabe, you can tell that he's the guy that everyone tells to shut up. Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
He does not wear the pants.
He's the guy in the group that, like, he'll say something and he'll crack a dad joke and everybody just goes, hey, shut the duck up. Sit
That's
over
right.
there and just be quiet.
That's right, because him and Chris Albert were in that diet competition. That's why they couldn't go make pizza, because they were off the carbs. Cynthia Lynch says that the guy's name is Tim from Can TV. Thank you.
Yeah, I guarantee you that Matt McCabe gets no respect in that group of people. None. Like, he's the one that they put kick me signs on. You know what I mean? Yeah.
You mean he's not the favorite sister or whatever, the coveted sister? Don San Juan, thanks for the 20. Melanie, I love your take on the filings. Hope one day soon you'll be able to cover the criminal cases of McAlberts. Honestly, what do you think the chance of Michael Morrissey facing charges is? Every day that goes by, it seems less likely. Well, I will tell you this, from where I come, here on Long Island, we do have a district attorney by the name of Tom Spota, who is sitting in Club Fed, which we call federal prison, because of the corruption in the Suffolk County DA's office. And he and his friend, who was the chief of police at the time, James Burke, both went to jail over some corruption out here in Suffolk County. And it did not involve the covering up of a murder of a police officer. It involved the covering up of a beating of a suspect who was in police custody. And Tom Spota is in his 80s or something. Like, he's pushing 90 and he's still in federal jail, so federal prison. So I would say that
it's not unheard of.
It's not unlikely.
Right.
It happens.
Yeah. There's so much evidence.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a question of, when does Josh Levy think he has enough to convict with? That's
right.
it. That's what it's a question of.
Sue says on a live show, Aiden mentioned that someone told him that Morrissey's phones were tapped. I can't confirm or deny. I mean, that sounds like a rumor, but I don't, I'm on a legal-based channel, so I like to stick to facts as I know them. I'm not saying that he might not turn out to be right, but a lot of stuff that he has reported on has come true. Sue says Mello was dropped off at court empty-handed one day. We think he lost his driver's license for child support owed, strutted across the street, went to a side room, and walked out with multiple full red ropes. I don't know what that means. Do you? Can you interpret that for me?
Let me read it again in context and get the full context. Mello was dropped off at court empty-handed one day. We think I lost his deal. Driver's license for child support owed. Strutted across the street, went to a side room and walked out with multiple full red ropes. I would assume that the full red ropes is a metaphor for like being a celebrity and
Oh, like a red carpet.
yeah,
Okay.
VIP,
Gotcha.
kind of thing.
Amber
Maybe
says, thanks for connecting all the
my
dots a bit
best guess.
better by pulling these up again. Hindsight is 2020. Thanks, Amber. Yes, it sure is, isn't it? Sebastian Anonymous. Thanks to 10. So if aiding can prove communications between Morrissey and Auntie Bev, will that finally get her recused from the Reed case? I would think so. I don't know. It depends what those communications are about.
Yeah, that's
If
what I
it's
mean.
from his,
They're gonna communicate. That's the DA and the
right.
judge. I mean,
Depends on what the substance, sum and substance of those communications is.
depends on if there's
Content.
any
We need a
illegal-
kick me emoji. Look at you. We'll do that for your channel because I was going to help you make the emojis. All right.
Yeah.
That's number one on your list is a kick me sign. Because you don't even have emojis yet. We're working on it for you.
I've got a better idea, but I want to keep it secret.
Okay, then we want. I just had to give. It was a super chat. I had to give this person credit for the idea. You know how that works. Wow. Thanks, my friends. We are out of. I don't know, gas. Do you got anything else you want to say? Any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I am literally out of gas.
Cheryl, thank you for the Venmo. Says watch everything you do around Free Kearney and Turtle Boy and loves Mark B. Thank you so much. Mods, you are amazing. I love you. I could never have this channel without you. And Michelle, thank you for the Cash App. And you guys are amazing. And I have just been advised by Bridget Todd that we may have some special guests with Bridget Todd, family members of Carly, Greg, come on the show next week. That would be amazing. And I know you guys are here for it. Thank you also for somebody who bought me a matcha latte and for Belinda from San Diego, who also sent me a matcha latte. And it's been a long day.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, man. You are like burning the candle at both ends up here, man, with all these trials and stuff that you're going live like 3 or 4 times a day, it seems like.
It's like I'm on the breaking news schedule, breaking news never sleeps. And it feels like that's what's happening.
There's a lot going on court-wise right now.
Yeah.
A lot of cases to cover.
Sarah Boone, 9 a.m. It's already set up.
And I want to do Sarah Boone as well, which I will, but tomorrow is Jill Daniels, so I'm going to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't miss that.
All right. Well, if you want to come on with me after, you're welcome. Everyone likes you here pretty much, right, you guys? You guys, let's take a poll. You guys want Will to maybe pop in tomorrow during some Sarah Boone stuff? They do. They all do. Oh, he's gonna be all insecure now. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging in. It's like close to midnight on the East Coast here where I live, and I don't know where you live, but somewhere. I don't know if you're in the same time zone. I have no freaking idea. But anyway,
we are.
Thank you, moderators, for keeping the chat classy, for being so amazing. They're calling us the dream team. He will hear from it. Petty Paralegal says Jill Daniels, lock her up.
Yeah, I mean, he's so unstable. I can't wait.
Everybody do all the nice YouTube-ish things like smash the button, hit the subscribe.
It's one of the side shows. You know what I mean? Like this is a.
Is this the one where she attacked Aiden on the sidewalk?
Right.
And there's video of it.
The Karen Reed Turtle Boy thing is a circus, and Jill Daniels, and
it's an extravaganza. This is an extravaganza because you could not watch any TV show that would be as entertaining as this whole.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Yeah.
Extravaganza, right?
Totally. Yeah. I mean, there's always something. Like, it's a spinoff, Jill Daniels, Jim Ferris. It's like, I can't believe they did that. I remember going over it.
Is she being charged with witness intimidation or assault?
Assault, I believe.
Oh, and it's going to be live streamed? Oh, man.
Yeah, I have the Zoom link. I'm going to stream it.
What time?
9 a.m.
All right. I'm going to be doing Sarah Boone openings at 9 a.m. So we're here for it. You know what they say? Yeah. No more shenanigans. No more tomfoolery. No more ballyhoo.
I am the walrus.
Name that movie. All right, you guys. Thanks for hanging with us.
Of course.
Peace.
Bye, guys.
Oh, thanks, BLT. Thanks for the 20. Very end at the very end 20. Replay crew endorses Mello and Will for 2024. You guys are the best. We should make sure it's like the Jackson United. I don't know. Is it too soon? is it too soon to make the shirts? We gotta wait until the Kearney trial's over. And then no more ballyhoo.
No more ballyhoo.
When I hit end on this stream, it is going to teleport you to tomorrow morning's Sarah Boone stream for me at 9 a.m. So make sure you go there and hit the bell. The chat is not live yet, but it will be in the morning. Peace, my friends. Say goodnight, Gracie.
Bye, guys.